Hello? Hi? Okay, I think I got it. Hello
Hello?
everyone. Welcome to the spookiest version of the Momentum developer Q&A. I didn't have a costume. My Momentum Man costume didn't get here in time,
No, we do have
unfortunately.
costumes.
You're
We're
tough.
all
Oh,
no, we do. We did, but they're really
they're
really
really elaborate. Yeah,
no,
they're
yeah, no,
we're
no,
ourselves
no, no,
just
no,
in
no, no,
different
no, no.
clothes.
We all dressed up as each other.
Oh shit, that's right. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I'm got
Okay.
technically.
Yeah, we ended up traveling to each other's houses, and it's actually the most elaborate costume of them all. Um, all
Okay,
right,
strange.
so hi, I'm Goknek. I'm the project lead and development lead of Momentum Mod. I'm happy to be here to answer your guys' burning questions. I'm joined with my fantastic team, well, some of my fantastic team. So feel free to go through and introduce yourselves. We'll start with the Discord list here.
That's me. Hi, I'm Bray. I do code stuff mainly, but also mapping and kind of all over the place.
Oh, it's me because False is away.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tom. I do mostly UI work at the moment, but also sometimes story and stuff. Shuck.
I already went, so we'll go over to
Oh,
XP Man.
Oh, hey, it's me. I disappeared for a moment because there was a pizza in the oven.
Ooh.
I'm a mapper. Uh, that's all you need to know.
All right.
Serious.
We also have Zofa here, but he's chilling out. He wasn't feeling too hot, but he is hanging out around right now. So let's I guess let's just jump into the first question here.
Yep. So, Mr. Steyk asks, "Big Conc tutorial when?"
Um okay, so we don't have there's going to be like two different kinds of tutorials, right? There's going to be the learn section, which we're planning to have by 1.0. That's going to have the basics of the mode, how the mode works, and very easily digestible nuggets of gameplay. When you go to the learn section, we're aiming to kind of like guide players into learning specifics about the mode, and not necessarily like guiding you from like nothing to like the basics. That's more of a traditional tutorial. That's going to be more in the campaign if there is going to be like a Conc campaign. So what we're trying to do with the learn section is taking those aspects that we're going to be teaching in the campaign, and moving them into like those nuggets of gameplay that you can repeat. If you want to learn how to maybe like juggle conks or something, right? You can go and do that repeatedly versus like the campaign tutorial, which is usually a one and done, and then you go and play the campaign. So ideally, the big conch tutorial might be that if there's ever a conch campaign, that kind of 0 to nothing guiding you, easing you through the mode. But the individual like mechanics for the mode and learning how it works and how to use conchs and how to like properly, I guess, complete some maps, that's going to be with 1.0 with the learn sections. It is absolutely important that we have pretty much every mode that we support have a like core mechanic like learn section. We are planning to have every single mode. I think this was actually more of a joke question that was asked about maybe playing Conk, and then this was asked after it. We reordered the questions to make them a little bit more of a flow here. So, but yeah, it's a valid question. There will be tutorial based like elements in the game, so people can learn how to conk. That's extremely important for us to get across. But yeah, did anybody else have any input on that?
Yeah, I guess in term of when, like, we have some people on the team that are pretty experienced with Conc. I know. I feel like Mac probably would be good to work on that when he's not working on the jump tutorials.
Mm-hmm.
But we've already made some decent progress on the other ones, so Conch should be coming in no time. We'll have a good learn section for it.
yeah, we have a
Um,
lot.
yeah, you go ahead.
We have a lot of like nice conkers as well who've been great with feedback, so that would be quite nice to work with them on some learn stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. and then actually throwing it to people that have never done Conc, right? We always tell people to play Conc. I think it was even in that intro video, the spooky intro video. You know, we definitely want people to try to learn the modes, or at least try give it an honest shot for every mode. So having an avenue for them to actually go and piece by piece learn it would be fantastic, in my opinion. So yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Steyk, for that question. We'll move on to the next one.
Yep. So the next question comes from Marble. They're asking, will there be support for custom HUDs?
This is a great question.
Nope.
More than just HUD.
I mean, maybe, right? Like, I mean, there's some stuff that you could do that you could probably customize a couple of the fonts, maybe. You could change some colors, maybe. Yes. So, I mean, it's all joking aside. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. There will be ways to completely customize every single UI component. Because the way that the game is, the file system works is we ship our files, but we mount custom on top of that. And then what we can actually even do is we can have the workshop. You can upload like custom HUDs and stuff to the workshop too, if you want. We'll probably have that in the future. So absolutely.
Panorama gives you like a level of HUD customization that is like completely unlike anything else. It's good. It gives us a level like to the point of it being like a security worry because of like like malicious HUDs.
Yeah.
Because you get V8 JavaScript, like it can't access files and stuff, but like it's still kind of like you still sort of worry like every time we add something like some new API or something, like you're worried that there's going to be something malicious someone could potentially do with it because it's crazy powerful. I'm not licensed. I don't have an NDA. I can't look at engine code at all. I can't contribute any C++ anywhere. Fortunately, I hate C++. But I'm doing like a ton of Panorama work, and I've spent like the last 3 months doing like Panorama work pretty much every day. There's loads that I can do because I have access to all the styling in XML, and I sort of redid half the styling, and all the JavaScript. So like, you know, a decent amount of like the lobby draw stuff I was able to do that because some of it's in JavaScript. Too much, according to God. Too much JavaScript, not enough C++. But yeah, you get an absolutely ridiculous amount of customization. Also, I've been doing some of it on stream as well in the last like months. So if anyone was watching that, you could like see like the amount I was able to do. So yeah.
Yep, they are highlighted. Those dev streams are highlighted, and make sure to follow if you aren't, because yeah, we're trying to use this channel more for momentum-related content, you know, development, gameplay, stuff like that, showing off the game, hanging out with you guys. So, but yeah, it's been fantastic, the amount of work that Tom's been able to do just from the JavaScript and XML and CSS layer that we expose via not compiling things into a zip, you know, like panzip.
The main thing for custom HUDs is making it like actually more accessible. For instance, honestly, like if you want to get really into it, the VDC Valve dev community has like a decent amount of stuff, but it's not super accessible. And I've like learned a lot from playing around, especially the JavaScript. I'm keen to like make some stuff easier to customize. Like I would love to. You know, for those who play like Diabotical, for instance, like the HUD customizer on there is just mind-blowingly good. We're not going to do something like that. At the same time, we are able to make draggable panels and potentially save those out to a file. So, you know, if we could have it so you could have a HUD mode where it lets you drag every HUD element around and then saves that to a file, you know, you could have some very basic customization there. We also have we use Sass for styling as like a preprocessor for instead of just CSS, we have Sass, which is great. I'm a massive fan of Sass. And most of the key options, key theming stuff, a little bit of layout stuff is stored in a single file called config.scss, which is deliberately made. I've sort of made it so it's easy for people to go in and make little tweaks to. So in terms of doing like sort of skins and themes, stuff like that, you'll be able to do from the Sass file very easily. The more elaborate stuff you can do through, you know, just looking at like the whole thing that you get access to, the XML, the CSS or SCSS and JavaScript. And then potentially some even easier stuff, like maybe draggable stuff that we might look into for like people that just want to do some HUD customization for like within game. If we could have that, I'd be delighted. But yeah, it's a
lot of work. It's a lot of work for sure because it's restructuring how we're laying out the panels. But we could do it
anyway.
Yeah, we could do it. So it's not off the table. And I'm genuinely excited because the default HUD, the way that we're doing this, right? Like the default HUD has to be good enough. Like I mean, that's not the level of quality that, we should really strive for. It should be perfect, right? It should strive for being as good as it can be, right? But it has to be just good enough because there's that layer of customization that if people are like, yeah, this font's too small or whatever, they can go in and customize it and change it to how they want it to be. So there's always that level of like, get it to where the information is there. We could even have controls that are hidden, right? Commented out in XML code that's like, hey, if you want this in-depth panel or something, right? Like you can go and enable it here. I think a lot of like the core panels will be like toggleable via convars, but then you'll have like the actual what's being displayed could be commented in and out of files. So you would just basically copy it over to your custom folder and uncomment something in order to show something, right? So yeah, it's been fantastic to work in Panorama, and I can't wait to see like where people kind of go with that, because yeah, if there's custom HUDs that are doing things better than our default HUD, we would love to incorporate that into the base game if it's just a better way, because like that's the other thing is we don't know the most optimum way all the time to show the information. Like we know what information we want to show, but we don't know what people want to see.
Do just with JavaScript, like there's always a limit to like how much data you're actually being fed from outside, because it's essentially just Panorama's just like a front end, like a website, but all the actual data is being fed to you through C++ usually. In fact, all data comes from C++. We don't make any like API calls from Panorama.js alone.
Correct. Yeah, we're never gonna. It'll be never gonna open that. That's way too abusable.
It's a can of worms. Yeah. But there's a lot of stuff, just like useful little things, like say like the first thing I found. We'll show off the map selector later. As one of the things. One of the first things I noticed was a map selector was the way the game mode toggle buttons worked. I was getting annoyed by having to unclick too many of them. One of the first things I did was go in. I spent like 2 hours doing it on stream because I was half asleep and I'm stupid. Was like Maker's right-click functionality that lets you like isolate a single game mode. We'll show that off. But that was something that was just JavaScript on my end, where I was like, "Oh, this would be a cool feature." I went and added it. Vulkan went and cleaned it up, and now like the level of like loops in it or whatever, what do we call it? The whatever complexity is lower. But like the functionality I was able to get done, and it's a cool little feature, I think. So if people end up doing stuff like that, we could absolutely notation. We could absolutely bring stuff like that in. Little JavaScript snippets would be lovely.
So yeah, the Marble did link like a custom HUD that was VGUI based. You will be able to make something like that. Absolutely. So whoever makes custom HUDs, I'm sure they're going to be pretty pumped to be able to do it. And in fact, I think technically Dota 2 might allow it, but like we might be the first game to allow custom Panorama UI. Like, because technically CSGO doesn't.
They're very
CSGO doesn't. Yeah. I feel like
Dota 2
might. Like, pro CSGO streams are using Panorama for their stuff. It looks like a Panorama HUD. And otherwise they've got some other layer on top of it, so they might.
If it, I mean, if it's a pro event, they use stuff in OBS. I could totally see it, but So just keep that in mind. It's going to be a whole wide world of Panorama and figuring out like how stuff works, and then it's much easier to use than VGUI, and I'm looking forward to the VGUI HUD makers coming over and learning. And
if I could just add one last point, one thing I've heard a couple people say about custom HUDs is just making their game look like KSF looks like, stuff like that. That kind of level of stuff should be doable from the config file alone. The thing of like just changing a bunch of fonts. We've not done it yet, but I do plan on like isolating out some of the just HUD specific stuff. So if you want to just make some changes to your HUD with like a few little, making the font smaller, look more like KSF, stuff like that. That should be done just from changing like, a dozen or so variables that are like clearly commented out and very easy to do. So that should be something that you can go and get a custom HUD for, I'm sure, but also like if people want to do that themselves, it will be very little effort. So
Yeah. What's really cool is you can kind of change components too. So like before in VGUI, kind of like say for like the conc timer bar, like you're kind of stuck
Look
to
around.
a progress bar, right? But the way it's set up now, you just kind of get the actual time through JS directly from C++, and then just do whatever you want with it.
Yep.
So like, you could do like a speedometer, like that's like a progress bar or something. Like you could do some really fun stuff.
Yep. Not
you
just
really wanted
position.
to.
Yeah. Basically, just not
not
just
just
position or color. It's you could change the form, the way that the data is represented. You can make your own control. I think you could even import JavaScript. I wouldn't recommend it because it is game UI. Keep that in mind. It has to be performant. But
I've got a few libraries working. We don't use them, but you can get like JavaScript libraries will work with that.
So graph libraries. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be interesting to see. But we'll go ahead and move on from this. Thank you, Marvel, for this question. It's very important that we allow it. And also these last couple of these were made by Agent Agramar, who was messing around with the sorry about that. Who was messing around with the I think the blur target texture. He changed it to be like the Minecraft cobblestone and gravel and stuff like that. So that's what this is. But yeah, you can totally customize stuff. Even the textures that Panorama uses.
That's a really efficient way to get the Minecraft stone texture all over it. I'm quite impressed by that.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you want this abomination, it can be yours. But yeah. Thank you, Marble, for that question. We'll move on to the next one.
All right. The next question is from Leesriize. They're asking what could be done in order to prevent some people to cheat world records offline.
Submit anything offline. Yeah, that's kind of, so we don't have to rely on some client side or, because you could do a lot of things while you're offline and. Yeah, we can't really account for that.
Yeah, I believe
you need to
you make an API request at the start of your runs.
Yep.
You have to maintain it throughout the run too.
Yes.
Sure.
Yep.
Not right now.
You will. Yes.
Soon. Yeah, you will. Yeah.
So yeah, you just don't submit runs offline because we won't allow it.
Yeah.
We will, and that's so like keep in mind the layering here, right, is the game should always work locally. It should never crash if you lose internet connection. It should never kick you out of your gameplay or whatever. If you ever lose internet at all that happens is the run just doesn't submit. That's it. That's it. You get to play, it saves locally, you have the local replay, you just don't get any of the online benefits from that. So ideally, right, like this won't be a problem. There's probably a plethora of ways that people are gonna try to abuse the run submission system. So looking forward to thinking up, good anti-cheat practices there. But you do have to be connected to the internet, and that's where we distinguish ourselves. Is you don't have to be on a multiplayer server, right? So all of the data that we're going to be collected is actually going to be going over I think not really even sockets. We'll see. It'll be probably more buffered like HTTP data, which is also really nice because you can DDoS protect that. So yeah, it'll be awesome. I'm looking forward to implementing this system at least. And yeah, should be really hard to kind of fool our run submission here. So, and then yeah, offline is just, it's not going to be possible. So yeah, thank you, Leesriize, for that question. Did anybody have any other input on that though? If not, we'll move on to the next one.
All right. Next question is from Yi. Is Momentum a racing game or a 3D platformer? I would say so.
Well, actually, if you go into the Momentum mod, you can see all the categories or the tags for the category. You see that we're a driving game too. We're driving.
Low key confirming Team Fortress 2 bumper cards.
Was this before you removed the airboat code?
Yeah, I think so. So IGDB adds driving to that. I don't know why. I know this is more of a joke question, so the joke answer is yes to it. But the actual answer is we are a 3D platformer that has racing elements. You'll be able to race against online people as well as offline runs. Any run, right? So any run that's on the leaderboard, you'll be able to right click and compare against. And then like also play the ghost and stuff like that. So we have racing elements. Trackmania is a very good example. If you haven't played Trackmania, definitely play it. There's the most recent one I think is free. Very good game that we're really inspired by for a lot of the timer-based elements. And then also the competition-based elements too, with like Cup of the Day, things like that. But yeah, I would say we're primarily a 3D platformer because people might not want to race against anyone but themselves, right? Their own time. So it might not feel like a racing game because there's not other people, right, in the game, but there can be. And so that's why it's like it's technically correct. We can be a racing game. So we added that category. If people come in from like NASCAR or whatever and they're like upset that we're not like a driving racing game or something, we can remove that tag. It's more just a technicality. Like technically we're a racing game.
I piss off the NASCAR lot.
I don't know if we want to do that, but anyway.
I think the more controversial question is Momentum mod an FPS?
True. I mean, if you're playing Rocket Jump, yes.
It's not even that. I feel like it's so like it's impossible to like disassociate it from FPSs because it's just so linked to FPS games,
because it's first person and there's shooting.
Well, kind of, and because all the games it's a sort of derivative of, I'd say even Bhop is still like, kind of, you can't really split it from being an FPS almost. I don't know.
It's definitely first person. The shooter depends on what you're doing. We're not really heavily focused on shooting at other players, so it's not like a competitive shooter like CS:GO or like these other games would be classified. So yeah, I don't know. I'd say it's first person 3D platformer with racing elements. That's probably the best way to kind of incorporate all of that. But yeah, all right, awesome. Thank you, Yi, for that question. We'll move on to the next one.
All right. So Linguiste asks, what if the lobbies get invaded by big corporate server owners, creating dozens, if not hundreds, of lobbies for the same project? Any way to prevent that? I think, well, for one thing, like, don't lobbies all have to have like an active owner on them? Like, you can't just make 1,000 lobbies for no reason.
Correct.
Unless like there's dedicated lobbies, if that's what they're talking about.
Right.
So,
yeah.
The main thing is, are these people going to be able to make money? And the answer is no, because what are they selling, right? Like, there's just no like avenue for sort of financial gain, I don't think, through hosting lobbies, right? I mean, we want people to host lobbies and like
harvesting run data.
Yeah, they don't even get that though, do they?
Not. I mean, they'll get like dedicated lobbies are gonna hook into when runs are submitted. Yeah. So you'll get like that data so that you can have dedicated lobby leaderboards.
Yeah, right.
But
in terms of like having, you're not going to make money from like having players be able to buy their own private server on your network or something, right? It's just like ads. Like if your lobby has ads, well, like through chat somehow the server's sending ads. Like
yeah.
Like, no one's gonna. No one would pay.
Play
it. It's just If it would get annoying and people wouldn't like that, and also, who would pay for the advertising in a Legend lobby? I don't know. Like, it sounds.
Yeah, I don't think the monetary thing is, I guess, what to be worried about. I think if people were to do something on this scale, it would be more of just causing disruption or advertising.
Yeah.
And with that, like we can moderate it. We can kick people off if they're doing some malicious stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just like how we're going to be handling unsavory people with like unsavory names and stuff. we're going to be having a server-side list of things to like look out for, so like Steam IDs and stuff.
Yeah. We can always like block you from making like public lobbies, right? We can.
Yeah. Well,
like,
no.
If you're making a no?
You can create
can we?
you can create Steam lobbies at any time. It's just we could warn players that you're maybe not the best person to play with. And then we could also auto mute people that have said some unsavory things in chat too.
Yeah.
So things like that could be handled on our end. But because all of the other, the idea, right, of this being a peer-to-peer kind of networking situation until we get dedicated lobbies, is like all of the other peers will know about you. Like you can't dictate how other people are going to be seeing you. And then that's the other thing too, is you can always, we're going to have tools to be able to block like certain lobby like IDs, lobby owners, things like that. So when you have like a public lobby list, you won't see the unsavory person
that's
that
what I
you
meant.
blocked.
Yeah.
So that'll be blocked
will...
there. But it'll still be hosted, so it's like for other people they'll see it too, right? Because it's client-sided. I think it's hilarious. I think it'd be really funny, like if some big like surf server came in and hosted a shit ton of lobbies, because like you have to be playing Momentum to see them. So it's like if you join them and like go and play on surf maps or whatever, like and the entire time the server's just oh, we lost Bray. No. Uh-oh. Hopefully Bray gets back in here. But yeah, the oh, you back? Your webcam died. Looks like it lagged out. Oh, we got Robo Bray. But what I was saying here is that I think it'd be funny. There is no financial gain. Yeah. What
we're not
Tom
making
was saying.
A financial gain, and if other people try to, I think it's just going to be sort of cute.
Yeah.
Like it's not a project that sort of anyone should be looking to make some profit from, and it'd just be weird to try to like. Yeah.
If anything, I hope the invasion is the communities coming over here and hosting their lobbies and stuff. Like I hope, like I would love to see KSF, Horizon like lobbies. I would love to see them because that means their community extends over here, right? Like we want that. But if like if somebody joins and it's like 1,000 like play on KSF, like what would you say in the lobby name? Like it's like don't join the server, go play on another old stinky game. Like like how would you convince? So like people are already in Momentum to see it, right? So I don't know. I just think it'd be funny, and we would have tools. We would have our server side telling you like, hey, these lobby IDs are bullshit. We would have your own blocking to be able to block entries inside of these lists as well. Giving you first and foremost the power to kind of handle all of that. Just like how we're going to be warning you that people are unsavory, we aren't going to straight up block people. But like, if they're repeat offenders or something like that, we can get to the point where it's like it's elevated to, they're like muted by default for you. Like we aren't gonna I don't think we even have an API to be able to block communications from people, but like that'd be really abused if it was there. But you will be able to kind of see like, oh hey, the site told you that this person's bad, but you can undo it if you want, if you really want to see their chat or something. Play this 2004 game and pay $100 for the server. So
I think that's probably a bit unsuccessful. I'm quite fond of CSGO's system of auto-muting some stuff. Where you always have the option to unmute them. Mm-hmm. But if someone joins your game and, they've just been toxic in like a million games, when I play CSGO, I don't unmute those people because the majority of the time they are incredibly annoying. Yeah. And like, I don't know, I quite like systems like that,
And and I think the easiest way to fix that behavior is just the kind of shadow ban route of like they don't know they're muted, right? So they just like they spam chat with like all the cursors or whatever that they have. So they just very quickly keep getting reported by other people that have to see it, that wanted to see it or whatever. So we'll see. But this is a good question. It's interesting to think about, but like there is no financial gain, so there would not really be a reason to like spam or advertise, other than to annoy. And we'll have tools in place to prevent the annoyance from taking over. And then yeah, you keep in mind you do need to like, I guess you don't need to run the game, but like you do need an account, like a Steam account to host lobbies. Like even the dedicated server, I think will need a. Oh, we lost break. Yeah. The
I assume that Steam account will have to have momentum, right? So have like a proper Steam.
No, it would have to have the dedicated Steam, server app ID. It's a separate tool ID for that one at least. Because again, like you're only networking like positional data. We're not simulating the game.
Yeah. But like, do we limit that ID? Does that have to be owned by someone's Steam account who has like bought games on Steam, like spent like the $5 on Steam or whatever? No, we
could though. We could do that to where it's like we're checking the account.
We can avoid doing that, then that's great. But I mean, yeah, like if you are making accounts specifically to host momentum servers, I don't know. Yeah.
And then I don't know how that works with like people that host it in like dedicated servers that are like NFO or something that hosts dedicated game servers, to where we reach out to them and like see how they want to set it up, because their accounts would probably have all the games anyway. So, and then people would just buy their service to host it. So yeah, like for the most part, I don't think we're really going to be able to prevent people from hosting lobbies, but we can sure as hell have a website side thing that like lets you know that these people might not be the best people thing going. But yeah, people creating 50 accounts to advertise play defrag. Oh my god, the game mode wars will be an interesting one. Like I wonder how tribal people are gonna get. Anyway, thank you, Linguiste, for the question.
Sorry, I kind of have.
Yeah.
If I'm not like lagging out.
Nope, you're good right now. Yep.
It is important to say also that the lobbies are mainly Steam, so it doesn't like hit our site, so it doesn't really like create kind of like a DDoS situation, unless there's like some dedicated lobby stuff we want to do in the future that uses the site.
Yeah, I mean, dedicated server will have hooks into the website.
Yeah,
we could have because it'll probably be more opt-in. Like a lot of people might want to just host a dedicated lobby for them and their friends that just constantly, like a Minecraft server, right? Like you don't go to a professional like thing for it. You just host it on a box or your own computer. So for that, it's just a matter of like, you don't have hooks into our site because you don't really care about that maybe. But yeah, we could have it be like a sign up process too. Like if you want to get the hooks into our website, you have to like sign up your server to our like through our website, and we have to like approve it. So that way we don't get people hosting that. But then again, our website is going to be hopefully under sufficient DDoS protection. Never say never, but still, like, we're taking all the precautions we can, because we're not just an open socket, right, waiting for UDP connections. We are all behind HTTP and Steam. So you have to take down Steam if you want to take down Momentum Mod lobbies. So then the site, you would have to probably take down Cloudflare and then our hosting provider. So yeah.
Steam and Cloudflare are pretty good. Yeah. Walls of defense.
Yeah. So yeah. Was there anything else that people wanted to add for this? All right. We'll move on to the next. Oh, speaking of, wow, very topical.
Okay. 1 second.
What one are we on?
XB Man's getting his
Linguiste. Once the game is out, are you expecting any heavy loads that could make the server crash / game become unavailable on day one? Are you expecting anything of that matter?
So I'll take this one because this is more of DevOps and like sysadmin stuff. So right now it's pretty well managed. The site itself, we aren't really getting hammered with the expected player count. My generous estimate is going to be around 10,000 peak concurrent players on like day one. We'll see if we hit that. We'll see if we grow exponentially past that. I don't know. I genuinely, because we're a free-to-play game, and because a lot of people are familiar, we might have more than that. We have over 12,000 wish lists. I have to keep pushing that. It's in my contract. I'm just kidding. It's like, so 12,000 people are interested enough to know when the game is public, right? So that's at least 12,000 people that are eventually going to play it. Maybe not all at the same time. There's potentially streamers that are going to be playing it maybe day one. We really want to reach out to some of the CS, pro player stuff, the people that have surfed, and see how they like it. So we'll see where that leads. But at the same time, we don't know. We don't know if Ludwig or whoever is going to pick up the game and make it explode or something. And so the thing that we can do, and what I've been trying to look into, is just scalability. We can design for 10,000 or less users with the option to scale in the future. So that's how I've been doing it. Right now, it is purely one VPS, one server right now that's hosting everything. The database, the maps, the runs that you upload and stuff. And we still upload every single run, including non-PBs. So we're going to be editing kind of how the site functions first. Like, we're going to be removing, obviously we're going to be stripping down maps, removing all the common assets and the mounted assets, marking that in our database. We're going to be only uploading PB runs, because all of your non-PB runs are still stored locally, but nobody really cares about your non-PB runs. I'm just kidding. No, we'll probably have avenue for you to download it, but you'll submit it to the site. We'll store the stats. We'll give you the cosmetic XP for it. But other than that, nobody really cares. We're going to be storing world record history, so you can see how, I love that chart, the burn down chart of or not burn down, waterfalling chart of how the time save went over time. So we'll keep world record history, so you can go back in time and watch all the world records. And then we're only going to be storing your PBs for a map. So, or for the record that you submit it for. So it's not just one per map, it's one per the category that you're in. So normal, 100K, whatever, right? Whatever categories you go into, we're only storing your personal best for that. That is going to be moving to a cloud bucket. So storage and accessing storage should not be a concern. You should not be bottlenecked. We should not ever be bottlenecked with storage. Downloading maps, downloading assets, downloading replays, getting images, all of that should be through cloud buckets and not even be hitting our site. You should be hitting our site for the API data that tells you to go to the bucket. But other than that, all of that should be handled there. So ideally, the website itself is going to be focusing on the API requests, logging in requests, and then also run validation. But even then, run validation is actually forwarding your request to the actual validation machine that we're going to be running there. So for the most part, right, I don't know. I'm not an active web dev. I don't know what average statistics of Node and things like that is.
But bigger stuff runs Node. Right.
Yeah. And that's what I've been told too. Node is pretty battle tested, even though it's JavaScript. Right? It's probably not the most performant, but that's okay, because the most performant code is going to be our run validator, and that's not going to be in Node. So for the most part, I'm pretty pumped. I think we'll be able to handle it. I would like to move our database off the server, so that way it is literally just a VPS handling all of the API requests, a cloud hosted either serverless SQL or something database with regular backups to our buckets for all of the static information or static assets and things like that, and then our run validator for validating runs and making sure your stuff is legit. So that's kind of how the architecture is set up. We don't really have much outside of that. So I don't know. I think the only thing that could really overrun it is if just there's so many people submitting runs, but even then we can queue it, right? If we have by the time you submit your run, we have all the data we need to validate it. That should be the case. There's not going to be any information we're going to collect after the fact. For that particular run, right? So if you submit a run, we could just queue all of that like, and just whenever the verification machine gets to it, it'll get to it. You know, which whatever, it kind of sucks. We have to add statuses to runs that you submit, but like, you know, it just takes some time. It's a free to play game. Stop crying. No, I'm just kidding. But like, yeah. So like, I'm not really thinking that we're gonna have too much of a like New World situation where like we have AWS at our disposal, but we don't know how to run our game or anything like that. Like, I think we'll have a general idea of like how we could scale, right? If our buckets are already scaled, right, for us by a cloud provider, our SQL is already scaled for us by our provider. If we have our VPS or the front end, sorry, not the front end. Well, the front end's one thing, but the back end, the API requests, if we have those either on Lambda functions or just we can scale with more VPSs in different regions that just synchronize to that one database, right? We could have you know, we could have like scalability basically built in to our kind of plan there. But yeah, I think again the most expensive is probably going to be bandwidth, because you know bandwidth is fun. But once R2 comes out, maybe we don't have to worry too much about
cool. Yeah.
R2 has no bandwidth egress, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm not too worried. I have no idea, right? Who knows? In like a couple months from now, we're back here and like there's 50,000 to 500,000 players, and I'm like, oh fuck, it costs like more than my salary a year to run this thing a month.
We have, you know, we do have the open collective money, and we will you know, the time when we're most likely to need to expand is quite early on, so we're quite likely to get a sort of picture of what our budget seriously is.
Yeah.
So we've got something of a buffer, and you know, if we are bringing in 100k players, quite a lot of those players will probably want to donate to the game.
I'd hope. Yeah.
And we do, you know, intend to be open about, you know, we're using Open Collective, which lets us be really clear about how we're spending money donated to the project. That's one of the great things about OC. So if the servers are really expensive, people will know that they're really expensive. But we're making an effort to write good infrastructure that isn't, you know, we're not wasting compute time or whatever because of our crappy infrastructure. If we need to spend more on server performance, it's because we have a ton of players and need to scale stuff.
Yeah. And, you know, keep in mind that the Open Collective, we're going to try to balance it to where it's not dried up within the first month or something from paying for server costs. Like, I'll try to foot a lot of it. We have other people on the team.
I'm going to try and stop you from trying to foot too much. So I think everyone else will feel bad.
But I genuinely want this game to explode. I think it'd be great to have people getting into the modes. So we'll see. You know, worst comes to worst, we just install a Bitcoin miner. I'm just kidding. Fuck. You can't even joke about that anymore because Bitcoin's like, you can't do it on like commodity hardware. You have to get a fucking ASIC or like 20 million of them. Anyway, in a power plant.
An ASIC, let us know.
Yeah, in a power plant.
We're going to run the verification server
off of that blockchain
we'll just
verified
wait for
runs.
Bitcoin to finally crash and then buy all the ASICs people are selling cheap and use that for the verification.
You're gonna get the game banned off Steam.
Yeah, actually, so we probably shouldn't joke about that. But anyway,
don't worry, we will hate Bitcoin on the team.
Yeah, and NFTs. NFTs are fucking pointless. Anyway, even dumber. Anyway, the game is, or the server for the game is being built around scalability. We definitely understand that there's going to be a potential influx of people. There's going to be peak time and off time, right? Because as people play in like peak days versus off days, and that kind of statistics will actually, those kinds of stats will actually be very useful for us to determine when we should run events and challenges and drop things like new maps and stuff. So we're going to be looking at that too. You know, you can only really know how hard you're getting hit when you look at stats anyway. So yeah. But yeah, a lot of it is being designed around scalability. So I'm pumped to see where it'll go. Yeah. All right. Cool. So any other input on this question?
XP Man's cat just got back, so maybe.
Oh, Bray's gone again. No, the crypto miners got her. Your webcam's gone.
What the fuck?
It's just probably. Yeah, unstable internet. It's all good though.
My cat has nothing to say, so I think we can move on.
Okay, we'll move on. Thank you, Linguiste, for this question. I'm hoping it'll be a smooth sail. I'm really excited though. I'm like nervously excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, isn't it? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So the next question's from RedZ or RedZ. They're saying, how exactly will the tutorial process for a new player go? Will there be prompts when you first launch the game to teach you the basics, or will it just be left to the Learn tab for players to figure out each mode?
I can't wait to make the prompts.
Right on.
So fun.
Yeah. So this is a great question. Thank you, Red.
Yeah.
The first boot is actually, I know how much people love tests and questions, but the first boot's going to have something kind of like this. We want to know how familiar you are with these modes. If you are unfamiliar with every single mode in the game, what we're actually going to be doing is like soft locking the map selector and telling you to go learn. If you have absolutely no idea what's going on, right, we want to guide you into learning about these modes. So what we could do is, like, you know, when you first boot, it probably won't look exactly like this. We'll probably have like its own UI, so there won't even be a main menu behind it, so you're focused on what we're asking you.
Really?
But we'll have, I mean, it still needs further mocked up, but for the most part, we want to know where you're coming from. If you're coming from Rocket Jump, and you're very familiar with Rocket Jump, we could tell you what changed or how to change things. Like, slightly and very familiar, you know, it's a quantum state. That's just probably a mistake on Chaz's part when he made the mock-up. Yeah, sticky jump doesn't have an answer. There's no answer for that mode. No, it was just a mistake. It's all good though. But you get the idea, right? Like, it'll be kind of this questionnaire of just like, what are you familiar with? Have you seen these modes? Have you played these modes? We'll probably have more info. It won't be just the name of the mode. We'll probably have like a description and maybe some gameplay snippet. And we want to know how familiar. If you are at all familiar with any of the modes, the map selector is unlocked. But what we can do is, if you're slightly familiar, we might lock the harder like maps behind, you know, playing more maps and stuff. The thing to keep in mind is that all of this is toggleable in the settings. So like, if you're like, oh wow, this is annoying, I just want to play whatever and whenever, you just go into settings and turn it off. It'll be like a very easily noticeable toggle. The main thing to keep in mind is that we need to cater to every aspect or every level of skill in every single one of these modes. So if you do not know like defrag and stuff like that, we recommend you going to the Learn tab, right? Like, if you're familiar with Surf, familiar with Rocket Jump, whatever, and then like you're unfamiliar with all these other modes, we want to urge you to learn them. So we can, right? Like through the map selector UI, tying it in with kind of this questionnaire. And also, I mean, this is just one part of the questionnaire. It's almost like a startup wizard, if you think, right? Like an install wizard kind of guides you through install. Like we would have a startup wizard for your first time boot that would also be accessible from the settings panel as well. So like, you'll have the toggle there on like, oh yeah, like limit, you know, UI versus like, oh, redo the startup wizard, or, you know, reshow it. The main thing here, is just we care about people that are very unfamiliar, which is that left column, and very familiar, right? We want to tell you what's changed, what have we done, what can you expect? And then if you're slightly familiar, right, we want to urge you to try to learn, but we won't stop you, you know, from going into maps that you've played. This is just to prevent people from getting completely overwhelmed. If we had nothing...
had that experience of like their first time on like a surf map and not knowing what a ramp is.
Or how to glide along it, or how to straight air strafe for Bhop. AHOP, a lot of people are trying it out and not understanding how ABH works, but once they get it, it you know, it clicks just like that. So that kind of level of like, oh, like I'm unfamiliar, or maybe I'm slightly familiar, you know, we urge you to go and learn. And we'll, after you hit confirm here, we modify the UI state. We have pop-ups. We can guide you through. So if you're unfamiliar with everything, we could have a tutorial on like what the main menu UI does. So, like we have pop-ups on like, oh, here's how you return to the main menu. Here's the map selector. Here's your, inventory. Here's the learn tab. This is where you can learn about all of the modes. Here's your settings. We talk about the right tab and stuff like that. So we can have, we want to guide people into not only just these modes, but also the UI. Right? So like this is just one part, but this is probably the most important part. We want to know about you. We're going to submit this to the metaverse. I'm just kidding. We're going to just tailor the experience better based on how well you know these modes. And so unfamiliar, slightly, and very might be reworded a bit to be, because like if you've never done it, you're pretty much unfamiliar, and we want to teach you. If you're slightly familiar, which means you've done it, right? You've played it, but maybe not a lot. Then we want to further educate you if possible, but otherwise go at it. Go at the maps. If you're very familiar, you know what you're doing. Here's what we changed. Here's how you can change things. Here's convars or whatever, or like settings that you can go and search to change things. Otherwise, you're fine. But yeah, like it's all about guiding the player, right? And we have the ability to do this. You don't get into a server and you're thrust into this random map that might be tier 3. You don't know what tier 3 means, like what, like there's tiers.
That's a
to
big
these
thing.
maps.
Is, like people not assuming that people know like the very basic stuff, like what a button is. Oh no, not that. Well, they can assume that, but a tier, like what the game modes even are to begin with. It's a free game. Random people are going to just be playing it if it's popular on Steam without a clue what it's about. Like, yeah.
So, hopefully this answers that. We want to teach you the basics if you need it. The learn tab's always going to be there, regardless of if you're very familiar or unfamiliar at all. And yeah, I mean, yeah, this is just like what you'll have to answer. This is part of it. We won't really bug you, right? Like we're not gonna make it like 13 like pages long or something. It's gonna be like a quick questionnaire because we want to know where you're coming from. It won't be skippable, but it will be really quick, really quick. So yeah, but yeah, thank you Travis for making this mock-up like last minute. But yeah, so hopefully this explains kind of what we're thinking. Obviously, we're going to be field testing this. We want to see how newer players react to this kind of pop-up, see how they're learning from the Learn tab, things like that before we actually deploy. But we also want your input, right? Is this, the things that we want to show on the very familiar kind of side of things? Like what should we show, veterans that are coming back? Like if people haven't rocket jumped in like 2 years and they're coming back and they're like, oh, okay, something like that. So yeah, we'll be getting community input there. Yeah, was there any other input for this? All right, thank you, Red. We'll move on to the next question here.
Yep. So next question is from Shiny Shuck asking, will task tools be available at launch?
Yes. If not at launch, it'll be very soon after launch. Task tools are extremely important for technically our anti-cheat kind of effort, but also just task tools are really cool. And, having more than just surf for tasking and stuff like that, right? Like having every mode being able to be tasked so you can see optimum routes will be awesome. I would love to have them at launch at 1.0. If it's not at 1.0, it'll be very, very soon after as we start to focus on smaller tidbits to kind of move along. Because right now it's big picture, getting core mechanics in. All the core mechanics are going to get in, and then we get all the small kind of individual features. But yeah, so not much else really to say about that. But
yeah,
cool. All right, we'll move on to the next one. Thank you, Shiny, for that question.
Yeah. Next one's from PX asking, are there any plans for a web API? And if so, what sort of information will we be able to access? I don't know how much we're going to have publicly available without attaching like a Steam ID or like an API token to it.
Oh yeah,
because we don't want to get spammed with requests of just like random people online like loading all of our times.
Yeah. Okay, so this one's a bit touchy, and I know this discussion is probably going to get ugly, but it probably needs to happen. Fisticuffs, no. So the game, okay, right, the website, the front end and the game both use API endpoints to fill the data, right? The main thing to keep in mind is that what API access would do for people. So what I was thinking, right, and we'll talk about this. I forgot to break this up into individual things, so just bear with me here. There are kind of 3 avenues that I see for. Oh, sorry, the low full return. Don't worry. Anyway, the three kind of avenues here that I see as pretty valuable, right? We're going to have a Discord bot. I mean, we already do. It's down right now, but we'll do better. The momentum bot, right, could go to where individual communities are, right? So you could join KSF if you wanted to, things like that, right? And it will, in general, probably satisfy 80 to 90% of people's data needs. Seeing world records, seeing top 10, seeing like whatever, right? Whatever that you want from the API, you could use this Discord bot in your channels, locally in your Discord. We can use slash commands too, so you don't even have to like guess what the exclamation, like you just do slash and then you could do mmod or whatever, mmod API or something, and then it could help you kind of guide through what you're searching for there. It can have the rich embed info, so we can have like pictures, we can have generated things that get linked, that get uploaded to the message that you get, and then most importantly, it can also link to the website to bring people to see like the full data. It'll also be fully open source, so it's there, it's on our GitHub. Anybody can run it, work with it. The problem becomes it actually integrating with the site will require a specific token that only will be able to generate. The thing here, though, is that you'll be able to run your own website. We'll get to that. It's also fully open. Everything on this, all 3 of these are fully open source. So then the other avenue, right, is typically going to be in streams, right? So in people's chats. I've seen this a lot. Tempest and KSF, or I guess Surf Timer in general, they both have these Twitch chat bots that allow you to very quickly in chat look up things like top 10, somebody's stats, things like that. This is more nicer because this actually goes to where more individuals in their communities are, as opposed to Discord, right? Where like Twitch is more, I guess, readily available and probably more relevant when people are streaming the game. So that way it's probably going to satisfy around 10 to 20%, right, of people's data needs. If people are in chat and they want to look up a top 10, right, it could be annoying to have to go to the website. But at the same time, and we're getting there and building up to it because that's kind of the grand finale. We want people to go to the website. But the Twitch bot, you'll have to know the text commands until Twitch makes chatbots better. You have to know the text commands. It is going to only be text only info because it's IRC, right? It's chat. But it could have links, right? We could link to, oh, hey, this is a PB run. Here it is on Momentum's website. And of course, it'll also be fully open source. No reason to really hide it. It's going to integrate with the website as well. The nice thing about the Twitch bot too, we on our website we actually have an integration with Twitch. You can link your account through the website. So if you do that, if you link your account through the website, we can have the Twitch bot automatically look that up to know if you're like a verified Twitch user for that. It's pretty nice. So like you won't actually have to do too much. We could even have like the button to like invite the Twitch chatbot to your Twitch channel via the website or something after you like hook it up, after you authenticate with Twitch. So you can actually add like, Momentum mod bot who currently is inoperable. We have to, set it
Rest
up.
in peace.
Momentum, mommy bot, mom bot, and Momentum bot were all taken. So cool. Thanks, Twitch. Anyway, But yeah, this is really gonna just be text-only info, right? Like it's whatever, and it links to our website. So this is what I'm trying to get to. The website might be a little inconvenient, but this will be the kind of final destination, right? This is literally where the information is coming from. Individuals have to go to it. That's the kind of, I guess, downside. It doesn't go to where you are. It isn't where you are. It isn't in a program that you use, right? It's in, it's on its own kind of place. It should ideally satisfy the remaining 1 to 10% of people's data needs. The website, again, even the in-game UI is not going to be as in-depth as the website will get. The website is going to have things like graphs, it'll have history, it'll have, like, there are so many things that we can just do much better in HTML and standard web, format and stuff like that. Like, Panorama's nice, it's web-like, but it's very limited, and the more that you add to it, the more complicated everything gets. It's not as easy as having just a plain website that just displays all the stats you would want. To
or
show
a website running Node, running Angular, right, which is able to handle a ton of data in the front end and process it in nice ways,
and just make it easy to display. And so, this is leading me to what was even talked about by XB Man. Freely hosting, right? The site's free, right? Everything here is free. The freely hosted API could lead to abuse. I am worried about kind of opening that information up to, I guess, unofficial parties. I'm not opposed to allowing a kind of application process of oh, hey, I'm making this thing that, doesn't really fit these 3 categories. Could I get access to the web API? I don't want people to reinvent the wheel either. Because this is kind of leading, and this is maybe the more personal side, and this is where it could get a little heated, is the website's open source as well, so why not contribute to it? If you want data to be displayed in a specific way, why not contribute to the website to have it? That's kind of the view I have. If you're making a Discord bot or a Twitch bot or whatever, use the official ones, but secondly, or contribute to the official ones as well, but also just if you're making it's a standalone program that shows you all of your PBs or something, right? Why doesn't our website have something that does that, right? It should. That's the kind of purpose. The website should be just deep diving into all of the information that you could ever want to see about anyone's runs, anyone's run history. I'm giving out these examples, but still, anything that you would want to see could be done through the here. And so it connect, the last point here is, right, come on, the game's free, the website's free. I mean, sure, it is technically your data, but our privacy policy will basically explain that you're giving up that information that you submit to us for us to host and digest and stuff. But still, it's hosted by us, right, already. So we want people to know about our game. We don't want people to go to Joe Bob's site. Joe Bob's just not really a very, savory individual. But you know what I mean, right? We don't want people to get their Momentum account hijacked. We don't, I don't know that it would really get hijacked. It's just when you start to open API up like that, you don't really know what you're kind of going into with security related things. If we have something that lets you delete your account, right? We have to make sure, I guess, that's only accessible through the website after you logged in and everything. It can't be it can't be through API or anything like that. But we want people to know about our game. We want people to have a reason to go to the site. I understand there's definitely a platform for people to be able to kind of take that information and run with it, do some really awesome stuff. And that's why I'm not opposed to allowing maybe some, officially granted OAuth keys or something to specific developers. But people should be contributing to our site. The reason why these are fully open source is because we want that, right? We want people to have commands, to have information, you know, like linking back to the website, which has all of the information you could ever want. We want that. Like we want that, but we want it on our site. We want it officially hosted so that people are staying within the Momentum brand and they're getting data that everyone can benefit from. And that's the other thing too, right? Like people could benefit from your contribution or what you were making in the first place anyway. Just like people are benefiting from our game and our API, right? Like, so the main thing is just ideally people are viewing these three as like avenues to get information where it's needed. And, you know, in the very, very rare edge cases where these three things do not cover what you're trying to do, we could look into granting API. And when that comes, that's just a matter of, you know, it'll be documented. We have to internally document it anyway for like testing and like, you know, other purposes. So we'll have documentation on how the API works. It's just for the API key, you know, like the game should be using it to get kind of the information that it needs. And then the website uses it to get the information it needs to display. And people should be using either one of those things to see it. So, yeah, it's kind of probably an unsatisfactory answer, but this is how I'm viewing it. Like, this is, like, I genuinely believe a Discord and Twitch bot will cover a lot of people's need for an API. Like, oh, I just want to be able to see world record in my Discord server. Invite the Discord bot to your server. Things like that. Like, you know, like, that kind of thing. You know, these platforms exist for us to kind of spread word about the game, you know, and information about the game, connect people back to platforms related to the game, mainly the website, right? Or the Discord. People joining the Discord would be good too. But yeah, that's kind of how I view it. Did anybody have any input on this?
I guess one concern some people might have is having to log into the website to view just like basic information when they want to. And I believe there's some things that we could just like cache so that like you don't necessarily have to be logged in to get it. Like if we wanted to store just like a top 10 of each map and like basic information on it. So that would always be something to look into. But for the most part, like if you're going to be doing something that will make a load of API requests, you're going to have to be actually logged in and validated.
I mean, we're going to have rate limiting anyway, even for the game too. Like the game's going to have client side, but then we're server side also going to rate limit. Like obviously we're not going to allow run submission requests every, you know, like we can rate limit that to a reasonable like level. So like there's going to be rate limiting anyway. But when it comes to the data that's being displayed, yeah, I don't know. I think that like that information, like the top 10, I guess, being public knowledge might not be a bad thing. I do worry about like non-game relevant API requests kind of flooding the site because people are trying to like cache every time on their own databases or something like that, where it's like, I mean, you can, right? There's very like obtuse ways around it. You know, like there will be ways probably to just use the, you know, website API because it's stored in your, you know, session cache or whatever, or cookies or whatever. So there are ways to do it, but I like, for the most part, we want to keep it to official platforms just to bring people into the game. Yeah. It's like if a site is trying to get top 10 data to host it on their own site, I'd rather have people come to our website. That's kind of how I view it. You know, like if people are like taking the data and like transforming it into these beautiful graphs and stuff, I would also like that to be on the website. But also, you know, like I could understand that to where it's like it's transforming the data enough to where it's like, okay, maybe it doesn't make sense to be on our site. So yeah, that would be an official API key. But like, I don't know, like, you know, I guess I just need to know what people want API access for, so that I can like, because maybe I could open up more with like the application process thing, because that's always an option. In fact, yeah, our Discord bot and Twitch bot's going to be the first two of that, right? So we're going to have it. It's just a matter of like, do we open it, and like how many people can get access via that. So yeah, yeah, and just keep in mind that every time you call an API endpoint, it's running our servers, right? It's like it's a freely accessible API, so we have to have reasonable rate limits and all of that. It could be doable though. So, and like I'm not like we're gonna be rate limiting it to where the website and the website and the game where those are like requesting. So like we're making sure that the game's not going to overflow or like get blocked in terms of what data it's requesting. Like it right now, I think the game requests new leaderboard information every like 15 seconds. 15 minutes is a bit of a wait. It honestly could be 15 minutes. Though, when there's a ton of people playing a new map, you kind of want to see people getting knocked and, world records getting bopped, stuff like that. That's important. Anyway, yeah. Was there any other input on this question? Yeah. So I'm open for more discussion on this. I think these three will be fine. I genuinely, I don't know. Like I genuinely don't know what people would want to use an API token for. And if these three don't cover it, why not? Right? Like that's kind of what I want to know. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so thank you, PX, for that. Feel free to continue in the Discord, not in Q&A live. If you're going to continue discussion, just do it in like general momentum or something, or even on the forums if they're up. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Okay. We'll move on to the next.
The next one is another question from Linguiste. They're wondering, will the dependency on FPS and devices like mice and keyboards to gain speed be lowered or gotten rid of in the final version to make everyone equal? I don't know how much
kind
there
of
is.
Part of the that's part of the decision to allow nulls, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like some keyboards kind of
some keyboards have nulling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
there's not going to be an easy way to detect hardware that gives an advantage. In fact, in the cheating scene, there's like these games that tout like kernel level like anti-cheats and stuff, but then there's like system, like you can build your own rig to like run the game and like scan like where enemies are via like a pixel buffer, like, and just use like AI to like see where enemies are and like humanly move your mouse to where the enemy is before they have the chance to react. Like there's cheats on that caliber now to where that's not detectable other than looking at how the player's playing. Like there's nothing on the local system that could be detectable in that case, right? Because you're using legitimate hardware, legitimate input, and it's just given to you by an AI. So like literally an AI robot sitting and watching and playing. That shit terrifies me because that's where like cheats are technically heading, to where it's like you won't be able to determine if a bot did something or not. And it's more just like, what's the reward out of it? So for multiplayer competitive games, the reward's winning. You beat other players. In our game, it's leaderboards and stats. So if we detect or if they admit or whatever, you just get that account banned and that achievement or whatever gone. But when it comes to
an advantage to someone that has a bad mouse set or something, I think it's just
so I mean the other thing too is we can't guarantee that people are going to be running at the same FPS. Actually allowing people to change FPS, right, is already kind of an issue where it's like we should probably cap the lower end. Like we should at least make sure the game runs 30 or 60 FPS, right? We should try to like hit that. With consoles, right, you don't really have to worry about it. I don't know if speed up is really a issue there. I guess for emulation maybe. But when it like comes to getting advantages over that, I think it's just how mouse polling is implemented. I think mouse polling could probably be optimized a bit more to not be too FPS dependent. To where you go over 1000 FPS and your mouse acts the exact same. That should be the goal. I think right now is if you go 1000 or above, your mouse actually starts to speed up. Something like that. Like it samples way too many times or something. So there are ways that, and we have code access to that. So we could look into changing how the sampling works specifically with that. But yeah, I mean, like when it comes to advantages, right? If there's a very clear advantage from just lowering FPS, we could try to limit being able to lower that FPS. And keep in mind that like if you lower it too much, like our anti-cheat could detect that level of like, oh, the game's like not running that smoothly. Like, is that intentional or not? And we could like at least flag that. Right. So that's the thing, right? Is like we don't know how to like differentiate between people purposefully lowering it and people just with crap hardware. You know, I think the minimum requirement, it would be really interesting to see if we could get a PC build with that min spec and then play momentum on it and just see how it's like. That would ideally be like how we kind of see where like things are in terms of like FPS and things like that. We want the game to feel really smooth. We want the mouse input to feel smooth regardless of frame rate. You know, we might not allow uncapped FPS. We might just cap it to 1000 again. I like, you know, because realistically, over 1000's not, you're just making your GPU do too much work. I would say, especially because your monitor, right, is only running at a specific refresh rate anyway, so it's not even going to display it. It's just the game processing.
CSGO is capped to 300, right?
It might be, or it might be 1000. I forget, but yeah,
I think they upped it to 300 once they like
or 360
300 hertz monitor.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, because there's 360 hertz monitors now that are insane. So they upped FPS max to default to 360 because of those monitors.
Default.
Right.
Yeah.
Over 1000 it lags out. Yeah, right. So they aren't anticipating that. And maybe, right? Maybe we should do the same for now. We could look into maybe uncapping it, but like, is 1000 a good cap? Right? Like, is that like where we should just cap it? Should we look into maybe raising it to like 2000 or something? Like, where is the point of diminishing returns to where even the highest like RTX card, right, can't even handle it, right? Like, you know, or like just the way the game rendering engine, like at some point the amount of FPS that you get just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter because it's like you're getting to the point where it's like it's rendering so many frames, it just probably drops like all because your monitor like only displays at a fixed rate and you're rendering like a 1000 in between each of those, and it's like, oh, okay, I'll just render this one. You know, it'll probably feel smoother because your mouse sampling is being sampled over 1000 to 2000 FPS versus, but then also your mouse DPI needs to be raised to. So anyway, like there's like at what point does the FPS cap just, or does the FPS just need to straight up be capped? Because uncapped, yeah, it's, I don't know. All players are capping to tick times number. If FPS is not tick times number, gain is lowered. Cap at 1000. Yeah. Oh, gotcha. So multiples of the tick rate. See, I guess that makes sense, mainly because it would synchronize with simulation state. Right, so what you're seeing is what the game's simulating versus like when you're 300 FPS and only 66 tick, right? That doesn't evenly go into 300. So you have like partial frames where it's like, oh, you're seeing a little bit I guess, of what the tick is. Anyway, like, you get the point, where it's like it's not synchronized there. So if you do it based on like the frame rate times the tick rate, right, or something like that, to where it's a multiple of the tick rate, I could see that being kind of like optimum, so to speak. So like all of your gain is perfect because it's every single tick, right? Like you're seeing every single tick that you're simulating. If you maintain that FPS, which, yeah, I guess if you go under 300, technically you can. It would be no problem. I definitely like the equal playing field. I like that. I feel like our engine, specifically our engine, should not provide advantages to people that I guess can render more frames, right? It should be sampled the same way as if you were 30 or 60 FPS, right? I know that's a little rough. 30 FPS is probably not even playable, to be honest. It's probably really rough. So we might even lower, like, if your game is not running a specific frame rate, we might just detect that and see like what's going on. Because yeah, you should ideally be getting over your monitor's refresh rate of FPS. That's like our goal. You should at least have a monitor refresh rate worth of like frames that you can display. So you're getting the most out of your monitor on our engine. But when it comes to actual devices, we can't hardware ban. Like, it's not. You can spoof hardware ID. You can, if it's local, we can't. We can try our best, but we can't.
I wanted to point out that Linguiste is it's a person that over a year ago suggested creating a robot arm for optimal bunny hopping. And yeah, that will still work pretty much. If you want that, it'll still work.
Yeah, that was actually alluding to what I was talking about a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
That's where cheating is heading. Like, the moment that you can get AI that scales down to like a fucking Raspberry Pi
Newton moment
and scans the game and knows like what's going on and just uses object detection to like play the game, you can't do anything. You like there's nothing you can do.
But people aren't going to cheat in our game first, so
Never say never. I don't know. It's terrifying, but it's also really cool. Like, at this, like, from a tech level, that's amazing. Like, it's actually really cool. Yeah. Like, to be able to, like, you know, OpenAI's kind of stuff that they publish about video games. That stuff's so cool. You know, so it takes kind of a level of like, we should probably also integrate some AI into our auto detection stuff too. Anyway, yeah. Arms race of AI only ends in, you know, either global thermal nuclear war or somebody getting banned from their video game.
Someone figured out how to cheat in Bhop.
The world ended. Anyway, hopefully that answers that. Kind of a little bit of a ramble there, but we do want to look into actually making it a better sampling, like a better mouse sample, not really, ideally just like handling higher FPS better, I guess, is the way to do that. But yeah, so hopefully that answers that. We'll move on to the next question. Thank you, Linguiste.
Good question.
And we've got another Linguiste question. They're asking for an ETA for SSJ and Strafe Trainers for Bhop, and will currently used versions be implemented as placeholders before 1.0?
So, SSJ is actually really simple for us to add. I think there was debate on what we wanted out of SSJ. I think Ox would be a great person to ask in regards to that specifically, because I think there was different, like, what SSJ should be, you know, and like we don't have the chat, like we could move it out of the chat panel now, so it could actually be almost like a list too. You already have which jumps you have. We could maybe customize the jump speedometer to show you that on the 7th jump or 6th jump. So yeah, I don't know. It was just really just conversation around what we want out of something like an SSJ element. Strafe Trainer, yes, would be very good to have. The problem is we're currently waiting for Spicy. Spicy was attempting to implement it into 087. I need to reach out and catch back up with him. He might have gotten busy in real life. In which case, if Spicy wants to donate the Strafe Trainer to us, we can implement it in Panorama. Otherwise, we'll have to wait for the 087 implementation to then port it. We are looking at Spicy, and Spicy did agree to have their tools in our game. So just a matter of kind of figuring that out. But yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it was so nice to make that in Panorama. Make that look good. Oh.
So I'm too scared of getting backed, yeah. So having an official avenue to use, how to get better at strafing will be good. So absolutely, it'll be in the game. SSJ will be in the game in some form. We just have to figure out what the form is. We'll be doing that. Get a card for it. Get it in game. And then currently used versions be implemented as placeholders. No, mainly because Spicy's tools are injected via a server plugin, I think, and we don't have that anymore. Like we don't have server plugins. And then SSJ is like, I mean, we could have it in place. It's just like, yeah, just print out like gain and stuff like that every 6 jump. Though I think we wanted to customize it to like every n jump, or it's like NSJ. It's like number of yeah. Anyway, so hopefully that answers that. Yeah, it's kind of just
like an ETA.
It's not really an ETA. SSJ will be in before 1.0 for sure. It's just a matter of getting the information. But Strafe Trainer might be a bit it's kind of test tool level of like, okay, we need to get like the tooling side of things kind of figured out first. So that might be around 1.0, after 1.0. We'll see.
You might be able to do SSJ without even doing any C++ changes, right? I don't know.
We might need gain. We might need to we need to calculate gain and show diff. Okay. I think with that.
Oh, it shows gain.
Yeah, because right now I think all we show is just speed. We don't show gain.
Yeah, just speed.
Yeah. I think that might have been relevant.
We have a comparison to gain.
Yeah.
Right? Well, it's the same.
No, it's a different metric.
To your previous.
Yeah, it's a different metric altogether. It's like there's sync and there's also gain. And a lot of bunny hoppers want to see gain as well. Like sync is okay, but like gain is more important. So for the most part, yeah, showing gain on every jump. So basically we want to customize that jump speedometer to show gain as well. Maybe that could be a unit for it or something. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we do need to actually show that information. And that's C++ level. That needs to be calculated and then passed along.
Yeah.
But yeah. Cool. All right, we'll move on. Thank you, Linguiste, for that question as well.
Yeah. Next question, I hope someone looked at beforehand because you'd probably need to like open up the code to answer it now. It's from FPS God saying, on Chaos Momentum, the tick rate is locked at 66.7 on netgraph, whereas in CSS, netgraph typically hovers around 67 to 68 tick. Is this purely visual, or can this affect gameplay on extremely difficult maps?
Purely visual.
Purely visual. Yeah, look, it's just it computes the number more precisely on your engine.
Yep. Okay. It computes like it takes the interval.
The number that it's showing, not the actual like tick
rate. Not the tick rate. Yeah. Tick rate is the same as ever. It's the same as I think CSGO. But yeah, it's the same. Yeah. It's the same as it should be the same as CSS. Unless they completely overhauled how ticks work. Yeah, so purely visual. Don't get freaked out. It's just the tick interval. So 100 tick should show a steady 100. 128 tick, 128. So, yeah. Cool. Thank you for that question, FPS God. We'll move on to the next one.
Next one is from Arc. They're wondering, will momentum mods / the Chaos engine in general be getting any benefit from the recent updates to Half-Life 2 and Source 1 Valve games that add support for the Vulkan renderer?
It's not full.
We already do have DXVK.
Yep.
And yeah, it's not like a native Vulkan. It's just they use DXVK, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I got it from Josh's work.
Yep.
Already. So yeah.
DXVK is really cool, and we'd love to have Vulkan, but it's not native Vulkan. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
no, it is Vulkan.
Spread around as it, you know.
So so to clarify, it is Vulkan. Yeah, it's an abstraction layer that takes the DirectX shader calls and translates it over to Vulkan. It does run like Vulkan to like render it, but it's it's that translation layer. So it's not native Vulkan where it was like designed in Vulkan, SPIR-V shaders, stuff like that.
But getting like, the material system and stuff working in Vulkan would be like
a gargantuan task. Yeah, we already have DX11. So it is a stepping stone.
A pretty big task. The fact that we got DX. Keep in mind DX11, like even CS:GO doesn't have DX11. Slidey got it working.
Yep.
But Vulkan would be like. There's so much stuff that's really great about Vulkan. I mean, it's super cool. It would be DX13 might be getting announced soon. It'd be interesting to see where Microsoft go with the next version of DirectX. But it does.
The Xbox One X2.
Right. I mean, I don't know what there would be to get that excited about from like I don't know. Vulkan really does seem like the way to go. Like if we had like unlimited time, Vulkan would be incredible. But
so big shout outs to Joshua Ashton or Aston. Oh God, sorry.
Well, I guess this is one of the areas where Valve is like a bit better with this stuff because it's related to their new hardware and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is why they're doing this, right? It's the for Steam Switch or whatever it's called. What's it called? Steam Deck.
I will note that we only get code pushes when Valve graces us with it. So when it comes to actually like getting the code, we have to wait for Valve. So the DXVK code was a little bit delayed. Like I think a couple days or so after Portal 2 got it. Like a couple days after Portal 2 got it. But we were already working on it. JJ in Chaos was working on it already and then was able to use Josh's implementation to finish it. So awesome stuff. Because now SIA shader model 2.0b get bent. And then now we can also do DX11 only for momentum, which also includes DXVK11. Right, so like DX11VK. So that means that we can work exclusively on DX11, and then Linux should just work like magic. So really pumped for our renderer there. And yeah, I mean it'll be interesting to see what more we get pushed. I know there was a lot of stuff that was pushed to like Half-Life 2 and stuff to get those games ready for Steam Deck. We'll see if we can get that stuff pushed. Who knows? It's relying on Valve, just waiting on them. So, yeah. All right. Was there any other input? Nope. Okay. We'll move on to the next one. Thank you, Arc, for that question.
All right. Next question is from CaWu. Are there plans to deal with people smurfing? Will there be moderators outside of the dev team to deal with these things? What precedent do you want to set?
So, yeah, being a free-to-play game makes it a little bit harder. I genuinely want to know if other platforms have a smurfing problem, like KSF for servers, right? Like, do people have a smurfing problem already?
There have been a few cases of people getting like top 10s on multiple accounts,
really,
and getting banned for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and jumped as well.
Okay. So it does exist. So the possibility will probably escalate here because we're a free to play game. What we can do, right, is we don't want you to have multiple accounts. Right, like the leaderboards, for example, aren't going to submit times until you're a specific cosmetic level, which is probably an hour or two of grinding if you know what you're doing. So that's an hour or two per account that you would have to grind on per account. So for a top 10 to smurf your way to every single place in the top 10, you would have to do that for all 10 accounts. And then not only that, you would also have to maintain that against a horde of literally anybody that could beat your time. So unless you are the best at every single mode and every single map at all time, you're not most likely going to be able to maintain it. The other thing too is, yeah, like all of your like things that you unlock, all of your achievements, all of your like challenges and progress and stuff is tied per account. And to kind of duplicate that work is just going to be so much, I think, effort that it won't be worth it. I could see smurfing being a problem for maybe someone's particularly favorite map. They just want to have their name, I guess, up top. When it comes to that, what we can do, and this isn't final, right? What we could do is we would obviously ban the smurf. We would remove the smurf's time, and we would probably warn the main account. And if the main account does it again on a new account, we could just ban the main account too. It sucks because these are people still playing our game. Like right? These are people that also really, I guess, like the game so much that they want their name all over it. But like, yeah, for the most part, it's just going to be time removal, and just kind of like, I guess, banning the account there. Well, we have moderators that check it, obviously. Yeah, we'll have a global report system, so anybody can report times. Obviously, if you keep mass reporting people that don't get punished, you're probably not going to have the best trust rating. But other than that, we'll have a report system. You can report obviously sketchy things that we might have slipped through our cracks or something. You can report anything there. I genuinely want to set the precedent that you should be on one account, that we will have enough gameplay for you, that if you are the best in the world, there's still things like gauntlets, right, to set your name for, and that's going to take so much effort and energy to get like the top of, right, that like it doesn't make sense for you to go and do it on like another account. We could also lock things like that behind, levels and stuff like that, to where it's like, oh yeah, a level 10 or whatever is doing this gauntlet and setting a world record time. That's a little weird. Things like that, where we could probably see where smurfing is happening on these harder things to do, as well. But I don't know. The main thing about it though is that it's really, unless people are really dumb, like smurfing on the exact same computer, same internet and stuff, unless they're like, there's the other thing too is you don't know if somebody went over to somebody's house. Like if you invited Bashi over, God forbid, if you have to, but to get that world record time on your account, I mean, we will be looking at profiles, right? Like we have domain over the information you're giving us. So we're going to be looking at, your profile. And if you're getting suspiciously marked times, I guess, is the best way to like word it. If you get suspicious times, we could start to investigate. Because there will be like, again, I think I talked about this in a couple Q&A streams ago. We want a flagging system kind of in place where we just flag things that are suspicious, right? If the automated system's like, unsure in any amount, we want somebody to look. So for the most part, right, we just want to flag things and then on like the moderator dashboard, bring it to attention and just investigate. Look at what people are doing, their activity, which is also going to be logged, like when you play on maps and stuff like that. We want it to be kind of clear that, like, again, you should just have one account. Like all of your achievements, all of your achievements, everything like that, it's all in one account. And to risk that by playing on another one for no reason, it's not worth it. So I don't know. I would say just treat your account carefully, right? You know, like your son or whatever hacking on your account will still get it like banned, right? We're not gonna ease up around that. But like if somebody smurfs, it would probably go the way of just banning the smurf, warning the main account, being like, the next time you do this, we're banning this account too. We don't want to set the precedent that it's allowed, but there's not really too much we could do about just the raw fact that you could just create. I mean, keep in mind though too, right? Creating a new account, like the game is free to play, but a brand new fresh Steam account cannot submit ranked runs ever. In fact, I don't even think they'll have an online presence. Oh no, they will. It'll just be limited, so it'll be flagged. So like you'll have an entry in our thing, and you can like still download maps and play the game, but you won't be able to submit any runs or anything until you become an unlimited Steam account, which means spending $5 of your own money on anything on Steam, any game, any DLC or whatever. We recommend you buy CSS. You have to spend that money, and that's through Steam. We're checking Steam itself, not your computer or whatever. So that is the barrier to entry. And then there's the cosmetic level. So you have to do that grind. And that's for every account, right? Like, so if you have more than one Smurf, that's like even more time wasted. It kind of ties in with the philosophy of like the best anti-cheat is just wasting people's time.
Yeah.
Right. So wasting Smurfers' times, right? Just like wasting their time. They grind all this out. They paid the $5 to Steam. Steam gets richer, right? And then they get banned, and it's like, okay, do they move to the next? At some point, right? They'll just move on. So, yeah, don't Smurf. Please don't Smurf. We will have automatic things in place to detect things like that. I know they're circumventable. Everything is, right? You can lie about who you are. So just please don't Smurf. You know, we have enough content.
It seems to be like boredom out of boredom. Anyways, for like Tempest, I notice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like when things die down a lot, you see that kind of thing a lot more.
Yeah, and I mean it's a form of griefing in a way too, because you're like, you're pushing other people out of the spot that you're getting to, right? And it's like, I mean, it's fair, you know, that's your skill, right? You're that good, but it's also like, come on, just don't. But what were you saying, Tom?
Oh, I was going to say that, like, in a lot of, you know, I don't know so much about servers actually because I've not really played on like surf or jump servers in like years at this point. But you know, games where you get a lot of smurfing, people complain about a lot, like you know, sort of major like popular games, like you know, they're not monitoring anything manually. Like there aren't humans watching. Like you know, you can look at like Overwatch or whatever, and I think when I used to play Overwatch, like there would be a bunch of obvious Smurf accounts in like the leaderboards. Into like Overwatch does have like a top 500 leaderboard or whatever. And you know, like if Bethesda wanted to, not Bethesda, what are
Blizzard.
One of them, I don't care. If they wanted to, you know, get rid of those people, they easily could. But you know, they don't care, and they don't want to put like the actual human time into it. With us, like we're not getting paid by the hour anyway. Like, and also we're, you know, gonna, it's easy for us to pick up on that stuff. And it's like, because we do have, you know, CSGO, you know, if someone gets to global or whatever, who cares? There's like, you know, tens of thousands of global players, right?
Right.
And with us, we do still have a leaderboard where if you're getting like top 10 times or something, and like someone's randomly suddenly coming on getting like top 10 times on like just one map or something, like, you know, it would be, I don't know. There's so many, once you have like some degree of like human sort of insight into accounts, I think it's pretty easy to tell it's nothing.
Hi, I'm back. Also, I just want to add, like, at least from my experience, it's pretty easy to tell, like, within the community. I mean, I don't know how much is going to be, how big it's going to get, but, like, you can tell it takes a long time to be able to get a really good time. So by then, if there's, like, a no-name person getting really good times, it's, like, suspicious.
Yep.
And it's pretty obvious.
We don't want to like discourage, you know, people from getting really good really fast. I mean, I'm sure some people kind of can, but like,
unless they're played maps, you know, or probably
If you want to Smurf, it's going to be so like at a really high level, it's going to be so difficult just to get like one count through and like not noticed by anyone. But like for people to smurf to the extent that it's actually like a real problem, I think it's gonna.
And
I don't know.
It's
it
interesting.
Like a full-time job.
Yeah, it is.
Gamers, I mean, what do they spend their time on anyway?
How are we going to be dealing with wiping times? Because I think that's why a lot of people smurf.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'd be wiping the time. So they're.
Oh, what? Because you get like a no-name, like a time gets deleted, but you still.
Wipe a bunch of times.
We got Robo false. That was really lagging.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't really know what he said.
Yeah, I didn't.
2 words there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I had like 5,000 ping.
Yeah.
That 1 second.
Yeah.
I was asking like how we handle wiping times, whether you can like wipe your just like a single game mode or like specific times of your own. I don't know.
Oh, like deleting your own times?
Deleting your times, yeah, so that being like no record of it.
We can delete other deleting times. We can do your own time.
This is a good
time. Yeah, a lot of people reset their account.
Yeah.
Delete stuff again or something.
Okay, so completion we can allow. We could do that. In fact, we're gonna have a prestige system for that. Like we could do that for sure. The thing is with completion though, as you add more maps, like your 100% is going to drop down a couple when we add more maps. But we'll have prestige systems. That's doable. Your times you won't be able to wipe. I don't think that'll ever fly with anyone. When you delete your account and you have times, we're actually just going to almost do what like Discord does and do deleted user a hash and like the hash of their like name or whatever that they were, or just whatever hash like of their ID or whatever. And the main thing there is that like we want the record to be there just so that people know it happened. If we ban a user, the time is removed and the leaderboards are updated. But if the user ended up being like, you know what, I don't think Momentum Mod's that great anymore, delete account or whatever, we'll have traces of where they were still there. But obviously deleting their name and any personal data associated with it.
Yeah,
so no Steam ID.
Yeah,
for GDPR. So the right to be forgotten, right? But obviously the time itself is an accomplishment, so that can't be forgotten. Like there's specific data that can't be forgotten.
Someone's going to sue Momentum saying that their time is part of GDPR.
They personally identify with that 2159 on AHOP Easy. Anyway, like like there's levels of like data that we're gonna have to keep obviously to make the competition still existent. And then it's just so people aren't setting a top 10 time and then deleting their account. Like I mean, yeah, if anything, that would probably be the most expensive. A top 10 being fucking wiped is every time below it being shifted up one. So that's like groups, like people jumping groups and stuff, automatic. And so like the rank XP for that just churns, but it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, that would, it's whatever.
It happens a lot on Tempest.
Yeah, I don't think it's a
desynced points and stuff because of that.
I don't think that will allow that, but we're definitely going to be removing times that are cheated if they slip through or whatever, or Smurfs.
Both.
Yeah. So hopefully that answers that false, and then hopefully CaWu, you got your answer there for the smurfing precedent that we want to set. Too long, didn't watch or didn't listen or whatever. Do not smurf. Please do not smurf. Stick to one account. If you are serious about momentum, stick to one account and you'll be fine. Cool. All right. We will move on to the next one. Unless, was there any other input for any of what we just talked about? Okay. All right. We'll move on to the next one. Thank you, CaWu.
Yep. So the next one's from Murgle asking, what does the team think about cylinders as the player collision? Which I'm not I don't know. I feel like that would make a lot of game modes feel way different, and also maps are like, at least for surf maps, things are already angle fixed to kind of account for the square collisions. So we would have to modify all of those maps. It would be. I feel like it would just make a lot of extra work for something that doesn't really add much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, would stray like a little too far from the kind of goal of momentum of like the recreation of modes, plus like, you know, and making
it
it
would feel really different, and it would feel different in like an uncanny kind of way, which is exactly what we don't want.
Yeah. I mean, it would be probably better like game design, but like it's like we're not making like, I guess, like a new game in the sense we're making like new gameplay. It's just kind of recreating gameplay from a bunch of different modes, and you know, it's kind of the box collision, that's just a staple of like almost every one of the games I guess every single one of the games we're supporting, right?
Yeah, Plar was asking
parkour, right?
The default shape of the collision was. It is just a square, and it's also a square that's just on axis. It doesn't rotate with the player. So the problems that come about that would prompt people to want cylinder collision is that if you have like a ramp or something that's like 45 degrees, you're going to bump into it at a different distance than if it were like aligned on the axis. So I think that's something that's already pretty much been dealt with like through mappers, and I don't think it really needs to be dealt with in code.
For me, it would be interesting to experiment around with, just to see like if it'll feel any different. It will absolutely change the gameplay. It'll probably also complicate a lot of the collision based effort there, mainly because it's so, for those unaware of how collision works in the game, just a really simplified version of it is you are a box, basically a rectangular box that's axis aligned, which means the X, Y, and Z axes of the game, your box sits basically aligned to all of them at all times. So when you turn right in the game, your bounding box is still aligned, so it's still like sitting still. So when you're facing like 45 degrees, right? If you're looking at 0 degrees, you go 45, right? And like you're looking at the corner basically of your bounding box, and that corner is the problem. So if you have a ramp, right, that's not axis aligned, that's 45 degrees off, and your axis aligned box is coming and grazing, that corner is so fat, right? It's going so far away from you compared to where maybe, I guess, one of the segments there, like in front of you, is. So you actually stub your toe or whatever on off-axis aligned ramps, right? They could be aligned to the grid, that's fine, but like they're off axis, so it's like it's 45 or like any rotational degree that's not divisible by, I guess, 90, right? So so the solution, or like the idea here being that if the player was instead a cylinder, right, it's just a radius around, and then you have a height and a radius. And so the idea is that the collision checking,
like an expensive calculation,
would just be checking to see, as you're approaching geometry, is the geometry intersecting your radius? And like, you have a flat bottom, right? So the bottom has to also be like technically a plane. So that gets like traced down, and then you have a radius on like, does it intersect at all with the radius? But that would allow it so that the 45-degree ramp would be able, like, you'd be able to basically go closer to it, because you don't have a fat ass corner, right, of your bounding box anymore. It's all rounded. It's all rounded around you. But this also changes how you bounce, kind of like off walls, and like how, like, because it's like it's not flat. Like, you're not hitting a wall against a wall. You're hitting like a cylinder against the wall. So it's like, how does a cylinder hitting a wall at an angle supposed to behave? Right? So like, is the trade-off worth it? I know you could probably throw it in Unity in like 5 seconds or something to figure it out, but like that's Unity, first of all, and second of all, I don't know. Like I don't know if it's worth the development effort and the potential change that it would bring to every single game mode, because it would have to be every single game mode. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be. It just complicates the code if it's not every single game mode. Yeah. So you would have to see, how do rockets interact with that? How do, like, is it, because if are rockets tracing to the edge of your bounding box versus your center, right? Like things like that. There are modes that handle that, right? We use your center for like concs, right? So there's things like that that are already accounted for, but there's things that aren't, and just like and you would as a diehard veteran of each mode, you would know. You would know if something's off. And just if things feel off, that might not be good for us, because that's
Avuxi was asking if it would be interesting to see, like, if you rotate the hitbox. The problem with that is you walk up to a wall, rotate your view, and you're now stuck in the wall.
You'd be stuck in the wall.
There's not really a way to deal with that other than, I guess, like pushing them away, but that would be really weird.
Yeah, because remember that corner that's 45 degrees is further away from you, so like you're up against a wall and you turn, it'll clip that into the wall, and so you get stuck. And yeah, we're not gonna push you away, because then you turn. I guess if we could have like a view model anyway.
Hurt you.
Would it be like a perfect cylinder and a really expensive calculation?
Yeah.
Like doing you'd like have a bunch of root 2s involved and stuff. Like if it's like circular, wouldn't that be really expensive to do the calculation? Like
you could you could approximate and pre-calculate it. That's fine. But the main thing, because we approximate pi to like I think 10 or 14 places, and we just use that in all of our calculations right now. So we would do the same thing with root 2. It's just the problem becomes how does that react with like hitting a wall versus, because like you hit a wall and you slide along it, but like as a cylinder, the force there would bounce you, so you would hit a wall and bounce off of it, right? Because if you think about the rotation of it, and you're hitting, it's like a ball hitting a wall, because it's the side of your cylinder hitting the wall.
Even if we did it perfectly, like implemented it perfectly, people aren't really asking for it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like it would be ideal, right?
Yeah.
But
new game, right?
We are catering to, like, we're creating a game based on these game modes, and we are specifically doing this in Source 1 and dealing with all of the difficulties of that because we want to keep it the same. So
the easier solution is just to make your surf ramps non-solid and then like move the player clip like 2 units. That's a lot simpler than remaking all of the collision code.
Yeah.
What HG said is like basically sums it up, that we want it to be as similar to the existing game modes, which Momentum is very similar, and
exactly.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's an awesome concept, because again, if you were from the start, new game, maybe a combat surf game in Unity or something could do it, because that's where the precision of surfing, and that could be where that takes advantage of it. But it would have to be a new game if you're trying to support existing feel, which is what Momentum's going for, the existing feel of these modes. It wouldn't realistically be doable. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of really simplified math too with bounding boxes versus a radius, for sure.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the collision code is very, like, I think vector, like it's SIMD or something. I think I forget the correct term. Apologies, but it's like it's very straightforward to calculate whether or not a box intersects another box or like another geometry. So yeah. Was there any other input for this question? All right. Thank you, Murgle, for that. We'll move on to the next one. I think last one or second to last one, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was also a question in Q&A live. I don't know if we want to get to it, but it's not in the slides. But Gravy is asking, will there be support for admin powers like freeze player weapons, perhaps in ChaosScript?
I think this is a better question for P2C. I'm just kidding. No. No. There's actually yes. Yes, we're adding it. We want players to freeze other players during their runs.
Exclamation mark slay and
oh god. Exclamation mark explode.
I used to, when I was a teenager, I owned a CSS server and would like admin abuse constantly. So I have first-hand experience of this, and I really don't think we should add this. Yeah.
So
interfering with other players like movement
runs
and gameplay.
A slap player with 0 damage.
Oh my god!
You get like a world record where you get slapped
slapped on the ass as you get your world record.
Fully implement Manny's plugin.
No.
Oh my god. So no. ChaosScript, I want to note, it's not going to be implemented as liberally as P2C is doing it too. It's going to be more or less neutered to be more mapper friendly, not gameplay specific logic, but rather just events and better IO, right, for your entities and stuff like that. We would want that to happen.
Sandbox game like P2C,
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, or sandbox, right? Like we're not that level of like, okay, go and do everything, right? Like it's more catered, and we want, again, repeatable entity code to be consistent. So we want entities over entity code, or over ChaosScript code. So yeah, like it's going to be heavily neutered. And yeah, no admin powers. It'd be a funny April Fool's, though. We'll see.
But it's just that kind of that feeling of being in a server with like a egotistical admin and like just random stuff happening. It's like precisely the opposite of what we want in Momentum. It's just, yeah, it's just the worst.
Was there any other input? Okay, we'll move on. I think there's 2 questions we don't have because they were asked. Oh wait, no, that's right. This will play us off. We'll get to this one, CaWu, but we have 2 more that we're gonna tackle. Again, our 3
people asking more.
3 questions.
I only see 1.
So 2 in voice team and I think 1 in Q&A live.
Okay, I'll do the Q&A while I.
Yeah, let's do that one first.
So Ijre, I'm guessing Ijre. They asked that we've said in the past that co-op jumping, which is allowing other players to shoot you with their rockets, would go against the core principle of the mod. But would we consider adding the ability to record and playback our own actions to allow you to do those trick rocket jump style maps as solo?
So this ties
Really
in
cool
with I've seen this in Talos principle. I think you can record your like player moving things, and then once you exit it, it goes and plays it on loop. And so I think something like that would actually be really, really cool. Like low-key, actually really cool. And you could do like puzzle maps or something. The problem is it's a giant game mechanic that relies around like object state being synchronized. Also, yeah, how does online technically work with this? But like, yeah, I mean, it would be pretty cool, I think, to try to do something like that. Just to see maybe if you could do things like that where it's like, yeah, it's like you record yourself shooting a rocket from like this platform long away, and you have to like shoot at the right spots on the wall, and then you go back, you teleport back, and like it plays back, and then you just sync your shots, your rocket shots or something along a wall. That would be really cool. Though I feel like that doesn't need recording. You could just shoot the rockets manually for that one. But anyway, you know what I mean. Stuff like that where it's like you could record it and play it back. The problem is like, yeah, I don't know how the replay is going to handle that as well. Because it's like,
just a nightmare.
Yeah, you now have to manage those 2 things. I mean, it's obviously doable. It's just I'm trying to like process it, because it's like it's recording state of things that you aren't directly interacting with. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's intriguing, but it's it seems like more of a puzzle game kind of element, puzzle map kind of element thing, and maybe it could be toyed around with. Yeah, I'm thinking about now that's like you could, if you have like map embedded replays, you could technically have like a horror map and have like ghosts and stuff like terrorize you as you're trying to do runs. Anyway,
and they're all
yeah,
just shapes.
they're just shapes. Yeah, no, they could actually be like SCP creature models. Anyway, yeah, there's yeah, it'd be an SCP creature rocket jumping. Anyway,
Crocodile.
It's an interesting idea. I'm not opposed to it. This is more of like a post 2.0 gameplay feature, though, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Another question is from Disres1337. Will it be possible to input CPs manually so you can input your times from KSF to compare it to on momentum manually? The first issue with that is that the zones are not going to be exactly the same on all maps. So if you have your CP, like if you have your splits basically from KSF, they're not going to align with the zones we have.
Yeah.
You're not really getting anything more than comparing like the actual completion time, which sounds like something you could sort of do in your head. I don't know.
Yeah.
There,
the actual completion time could also vary because of just the way things are zoned.
Yeah.
I guess it could all vary.
Yeah, right. We do have in our backlog 2 cards. The first one is split zones, being able to create your own kind of split zones so that you have more accurate comparisons past the stage, checkpoint, and start and end zone triggers. And that's doable. And then the other card is gold splits. And so keeping track of your personal best split for an individual segment of your run, just like Live Split does. And that's also doable. And we want to have that, like we want to store those. And I'm trying to think, like technically you could, like in that format for the gold splits, you could just put your own, if you know like what they should be. The problem is, yeah, what XB Man was talking about. You won't really be able to compare 1-to-1 in every map. There are some maps that'll probably be 1-to-1, just with zoning and everything like that, because that's just how it's been for millennia, right? So should just keep it the same. But there are some maps that we kind of took more of a liberty of like, oh, okay, this is where checkpoint 1 is. So yeah, I don't know. I think that it could be doable if we have that kind of like split, the gold split format. If we have that readable from a file, you could do it. The problem becomes that like, and I've already gone through this with the leaderboards. There's like the things that we're gonna support, right? Like there's individual maps, and then the maps have tracks. So main track, bonuses. And then the tracks have stages, or could have stages, and then the stages can have checkpoints, but we're not gonna have a leaderboard that precise. And then each like run that you do for that entire slice, right, is like, was it like tasks? Was it, you know, like run flags and stuff like that? So like, there's so many variations. So like manually defining like splits and stuff is like kind of hard to do, because like unless you set defaults for everything or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, I would say what we could do is like your overall time. I mean, the worst part is like if our zones are done in a way so that you're always slower than your best time on KSF because or whatever server, right? Your zone was like further ahead or something, or like you hit stop sooner. that's the only problem. And like momentum should be viewed as a fresh slate as well. Like I don't think comparing against other platforms times are gonna work in the end. Just in the term of like mentality, because it's like if you're always slower than a run from another platform, you're gonna hate our platform. But like there's nothing we could do because you're comparing against a time that's not actually even physically possible on our game, you know. So like that's what I'm kind of worried about with that. So I'm kind of like leaning towards no, actually, mainly because of that. It's just like it'll lead to like you just can't compare. And like even if you're faster on momentum, how do you translate it, right? How do you translate that X amount of seconds that you got from the zones being slightly different? We're not going to measure that. And then not to mention like lagged starts and stuff like that, right? Like you could technically have multiple ticks worth of time that you didn't get in your run because it lagged, and like momentum will never do that. Yeah. So yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully that answers you, but I'm like the upside to that is we will have your gold splits, and you'll be able to compare against any run, like any of your runs, any run that's on the leaderboard, you'll be able to compare against. So I'm hoping that upon enough data that you generate in the game, you'll have more than enough to compare to and be like satisfied with. And then yeah, that's the other thing. So gold splits and average splits is another one, like average timing for each of all of the runs that you've done for each of the zones, because that's another feel good thing. I felt it when I was doing Half-Life 2 runs last year. Having average time that you've taken on a map and just seeing green all the way, right? It's a really nice feeling. So having that kind of level of comparison too will probably suffice for that. But yeah, you should view it as, you know, new platform, fresh start. You got your own or other people's times to compare against in the game, so have at it. Yeah, I think the most important comparison is going to be like against group boundaries, people trying to get into groups, and then personal bests. That's kind of the top ones, and then you know, the more niche ones, average splits, anybody, right? Anybody else, your friends, right? Beating your friend. That'll probably actually be more popular than average. But yeah, so lots of options, lots of comparison options. I'm excited. But yeah, any other input? Not. I think that's it. That was the last one.
No, we still have one more really important question.
That's right.
So CaWu says, "Please play Conc?" Question mark.
Question mark. Is it like a? I guess we gotta listen. We gotta listen to the man. So you know we gotta do it.
We don't have any Conc map with portals yet. I mean,
oh, that's true. Somebody needs to make a Conc portal map. Okay.
Let's try a Bros map with portals, I guess.
Honestly, right? Like multi-game mode it.
Conc on them.
Conc time, baby. We'll start off with some Conc, but actually, that's a lie. We'll start off with some UI.
Yeah.
So, if you remember, in our last Q&A, it was kind of a fucking mess. It was rebased 4 times. It took 25 minutes to get everything working and compiling. But Tom has been hard at work on the map selector. If you've watched any of the streams,
mostly
you will have seen it.
Actually.
But yeah, I have not rebased on top of your settings branch, by the way.
Don't worry about it.
I didn't have time.
I mean, if you want to, yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah. You can show it off.
It's unfinished, anyway.
Yeah. So I'll just tease that for now. But anyway, there's better settings UI coming, so stay tuned. So last stream, we kind of had a map selector that was a little bit jank. That didn't really have a lot going on. It didn't have the background. It didn't have the info like set up. The colors were a little bit off. It didn't really have that many things going for it. But now it's effectively in place. The map selector, which is probably the most important, it is the gateway, right, to playing Momentum. So it's the most famous UI. It has to have a lot of attention to detail, be very functional, be able to show the things that you need to see. So yeah, so this is the map selector, and I get to reintroduce it, which is my pleasure, because I spent a lot of time kind of figuring out how Panorama works through this element. This is my first Panorama element, the hardest one.
Most time on this, right?
Oh man, it is
so long.
Is a crazy one. But so the way that the map selector kind of works, it's pretty good compared to the VGUI, old VGUI stinky one that we had that popped up and it was like the server browser but maps. This is very clearly maps and map data and stuff. So yeah, so yeah, it's even got the map in the background here. So yeah, by default we go alphabetical. We're gonna change that to be recent maps. We want people to play recent releases. So by default, your filters will save, but by default, when you load up this this panel, it will sort by most recently added map. And so yeah, that drop down is here now, so you can sort. We have alphabetical if you want to go, Z to A. You can do that. Oh, I also apologize. I am still on debug. That's kind of how these things roll. I wasn't able to push an update. This was
did we have Valpex?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep, we got a lot of maps. And so yeah, and so you can sort maps based on kind of what you want to see. So maybe for a newer player, which we talked about early in the stream, hey, I'm kind of somewhat familiar with these modes. We could sort it by tier, lower to higher, lowest to highest, and then kind of automatically filter out tiers 3 and up and just show tier 1 and 2 maps for the modes that you are somewhat familiar about. We could do things like that automatically for you. And then obviously when you hit filters and hit insert at the same time, you can go and actually change. Also, defrag is still smushed. That's known. It'll be fixed. But yeah, so we have filters here. You can filter by specific modes. I'm sorry, my voice keeps cracking. One sec. So if you want to see specific modes, you can manually click and hey, I only want to see rocket jumps. I'm going to manually click all this. But what's this? The game's telling me, hey, use right click to deselect all the other modes. What does that mean? So if you right click a button, it's just a little quality of life thing. It'll automatically go and select the thing that you want.
Yeah.
So only sticky jump maps, only rocket jump maps. You don't have to do search maps SJ. You can. We're not going to prevent that, but that's just a quick. If only I could read.
Not manually deselecting all the others.
Yeah. And so you can obviously add back with left click as well. So it's not preventing that. But
we are going to be adding support for people who can't read in the future.
We'll have Google Audio text to speech. You just hit you just ask Siri to
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, so ignoring these tabs, right? We don't have beta and unranked maps yet, but that's where these will live. The unofficial, right? The unranked maps will live here. The shorter, the maybe less quality maps, right? That we are people could play it and finish it, but it's not really that competitively viable. We put them in unranked. You can still have the leaderboard and PBs and stuff. You just don't get any rank XP from it. Or ring points. And then beta maps are maps that are coming out eventually, and they're just in development. You can give beta feedback on maps and test them here. Obviously, we don't have that system in place yet, but that will be there. So yeah, so back to ranked maps here, right? So yeah, so you can filter by last played as well. So the more recently played maps that you've done here, so they're all here, right? And then the oldest that you've played, if you've never played the maps, it'll show here. So that's pretty good. And then date released, right? So you can see the most recent map, which is in fact Bhop Trip Portals, which is pretty pog. We might be playing this later today, or later in the stream, but we're gonna start off with Conc.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
We gotta play that.
Yeah. I gotta show it off, but
I meant Trip Portals, not Conc, but okay.
Oh yeah. But you can see maps there. You can filter maps based on whether or not you've completed them. You can filter maps based on whether or not you have them favorited. So here's your favorites list, right? It's no longer a tab anymore. It's just a button that you can turn on because it's obviously like your favorites and then the filters applied to them. And then all of the maps you have downloaded. So these are maps ready and
While we're
willing
there,
to go.
can I just add? So we're going to add the option to filter for maps you don't have downloaded. So
Yes.
we're going to have a tri-state button.
Yeah.
This is one of the components we've not finished. Dolan Boring Username asked a really good question in chat, which was, will that tier slider be able to set a range
Yes.
3 to 9? Yeah, that's another second component we need to do, which is like the double-notched slider.
Yes.
Which doesn't exist in Panorama currently and needs like some C++ faffing around with and then some styling. But we're absolutely doing that. Because, that's obviously really nice. We've actually had that since the mock-up.
It was on the mock-up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've always known we were going to want that eventually. But it's just a brand new control. So
yeah. And right now, the tier slider is less than or equal to. So it's 2, 1. Obviously, there's no 0 maps. But yeah, the idea being that you can kind of filter based on a range of tiers that you want, and then also just a singular. So you bring both of the nubs together for the singular tier if you want just tier 4. And that'll be in place, right? So that'll be in place for the final release there. But yeah, it's pretty cool. You get to select a map, it loads it in, it caches this image locally on disk.
We're going to be redoing these images, and they'll be higher quality in the future.
4K, yep. And then we'll scale them down and save them locally.
Right now, they're very heavily compressed JPEGs, which I
Yep.
feel like they could be a bit better.
And so you can.
No, I was just gonna say we do have a bug that like the background can be a little weird at the moment when you first join a map. That is going to be fixed soon.
Yeah, there's a lot of inputs.
We're trying to not make the map selector background too sort of like obnoxious, but at the same time, it looks so fucking good that like we want to have it. So
right, and so and so like I guess I didn't really show this off last time. It does show negative 2 billion. That's problematic, but it's just a bug. But yeah, one-click download for any map that you don't have. Some of these maps I have, and some of these downloads are like instantaneous, so you don't even get to see it. But it downloads. It's it is like it's so nice compared to the old VGUI crusty one. And you can right-click any map and start it in a specific game mode if you want. We still have that. We'll be handling that better over time as well, with like what modes the map actually supports, because then play turns into kind of like a context menu of like when you hit play, like what mode you want to start it as.
Like the delete map button in the context menu block.
Yep. So if you ever want to delete any of the maps you have, you can go right click and hit delete. You can also add and remove from favorites there. These buttons right here do not have tooltips yet. They will. They'll explain that also is what they do. Okay. So you can hover over, if you have a PB, you can hover over the PB time right here to see what PB you have. I don't know. I don't know if we discussed it. If we wanted to have the world record time right below it with like a globe.
Yeah, well, I have that data. I'll probably add it a bit later on.
But when you click the map, you can see it down here.
Yeah.
As well.
No, it will be in there eventually. At the moment, it's just PB and rank. It will also show world record and your group. I think it's also really important. In fact, sorry, the icons. If you have a top 10 on a map, Gok, you'll see it. You're not very good at any of these modes, though. So
I'm not a gamer.
Go complete triples really quickly, and
I'm on dev build. It won't submit. But anyway,
if you
there's
top 10, the icon will change. The little font will be a top 10, and it will be the same for groups in the future.
Yeah.
So
it'll show G and then the number.
See all your groups.
Manage
button to delete multiple maps. Why?
But
it's no point open the folder.
Anyway, there's time information here, but that's not a lot, right? That's just your PB and the world record. So what we did is we actually added, and you'll be seeing this in game as well. We actually added. This is not done by any meaning of the definition. The runs that you have locally, and this is the leaderboards panel, by the way. I'm not introducing this correctly. This is the new leaderboards panel. It's not done, but it does show times. So I currently don't have any local like replays, but I have downloaded Wayzone's run, and here it is. It's 1:55. You can't currently watch the replay, but you can delete it. And then we warn you that, hey, like you might not be able to get it back if you do that, but it's his PB. So I'll just go get it. Yeah, it's right there. And so, yeah, like you have 3 tabs. It looks pretty jank, but don't worry. Tom's going to sassify it and make it.
Oh, yeah.
Or Tom's going to beautify it. So
I can't wait for this.
You have 3 tabs here, though. You have local, you have global, which is the same as we currently had, top 10 around in your friends' times. So you and your friends, you get some pretty good names there too.
XP's name.
Yeah. And so yeah, here's the top 10. Watching the replay doesn't currently work, but we will update it so that when you watch a replay, it loads the map. We could probably confirm that you want to like download the map or something if you don't have it and stuff like that. And then it will load the map and play the replay, so you can go and watch it in the game. But yeah, and you can also look at people's Steam profiles, right? Check them out. We'll change that over to like also the momentum profile, right? Like first, and then from that card, you can go to the Steam profile or their profile on the website, things like that. So we have avenues of how you could go and see more about people. And then, yeah, so a third tab joins the mix here. It is the lobby tab. So as you can see, as hovering over it, join a lobby to see lobby times. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and join Fingerprints' lobby here, using the handy dandy menu drawer panel here. So now we're in here, and I can go over to my lobby tab and see
everything, and it works. I'm so happy with that.
All 3 of our times. So there's my PB, there's Bray's PB, and there's Fingerprints. I am the dominant AHOP Coast player in this lobby.
I've watched that.
And you can obviously watch replay from any of these runs. Ignore this. This should not be showing. It's just going to be who's in your lobby and their times. Even if they're not on the same map. Keep that in mind. Even if they're not on the same map as you, you can still see their times and watch them. And then obviously the filters will apply as well. So when we have the filter panel in place, which is going to be sort of like the map selector filter here, you will be able to filter the times based on what you want to see. So tags, whether or not, tick rates, like things like that. You could see things like slowest run first, sort them, things like that. So all of that will be in the filters panel, which is coming later. Yeah, so I'm really happy that this works. If I go to, I think AHOP Easy, there's my local times there. You can see, I have a 38, but I did a 127 1 month ago. Doesn't look that great. It will be looking
not even that much work.
Yeah, actually, fun fact, to add this panel to this menu, it took 5 lines of code. 5. I had to declare it, import it, actually get it, and then like set the map. Like, oh my god, that's not 5. I think that's 4. Anyway, you get the idea. It's very easy to import it. I love Panorama. It's such a great UI framework compared to VGUI. This would have taken fucking like years to implement in the old UI framework. But yeah, so yeah, and then here's all the runs. The other thing to keep in mind is this will be scrollable. So this is not the final evolution of this leaderboard panel. We're going to kind of transition it over to kind of offsetting into a list. So it will be paginated. You will be able to see every single run on the leaderboards from this panel, depending on what you have filtering, right? Like filtered and things like that. So when you hit global, right, the top 10 and around buttons are actually just go to, right? Like go to rank 1, go to your rank and see around, right? And then the friends is more of a filter, right? And then the lobby is also more of a filter sort of thing, right? So like these buttons will kind of transition to be kind of like their own like kind of filter buttons, so that you can see lobby, and like even technically it could overlap. So like you could see lobby times, and then you could see friends in your lobbies times, so things like that. So they will be their own filter buttons, and then top 10 and around are just kind of quick go-to buttons that'll be, you can see them. The other go-to buttons that'll exist are groups as well. So you can see where the group boundaries are, so that you can very quickly scroll to and find where you could get into like group 5 or something. So local are your runs that you've either done yourself and have on your hard drive, or that you've downloaded.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Or that you've downloaded. And this is from the leaderboards, right? So like any run that you've downloaded locally, you have, because you have the replay file forever until you delete it. So why not show it? So we have two different lists there. So that's the difference here. Your runs versus downloaded. And then lobby, ignore the your runs and downloaded. I just didn't hide it. It's, it'll come in due time. But the lobby thing here, oh my god, we got the world record cheater himself, Juice, in the lobby. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we got when people join and leave the lobby, it updates this list, so you can just see as people join. So now I am no longer the dominant A-hop easy player in this lobby. But yes, we will be supporting different styles for every game mode. So sideways, have sideways, D only. That's I guess.
I want to play A-hop sideways. How would that work?
I don't know. I genuinely don't
Beggars.
know, actually. Beggars. Yeah, I mean, those will be sub modes. So we'll see how it'll work with sub modes as well. But yeah, so pretty cool. I'm really happy with how this turned out. And yeah, we'll go ahead and just, I guess, play on a specific map that I want to showcase first. So I guess kind of touching over this, you can search for maps, right? So searching for Bhop, that gives me some more Bhop maps I can play on. Oxa's recent map here. Everfast is a classic one too. But yeah, we'll play on trip portals or tri portals, trip portals. And yeah, I want to show you guys what you can do with momentum mod entities now.
And shout out to Bhop for making like the first good map with portals. Briefly,
Portal 2 dev team blown out of the Portal 2 team. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, momentum map.
Be brave to getting
yeah,
good portal map out, which you can show as well.
Yes, happy. That will be possible. It's the console's not fully done.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, there's some VGUI elements popping up there. We're currently in the process of transitioning a lot of this over. So yeah, and also I guess name panels still do not work for me. But here's some nerds playing.
Yeah, I know what's coming.
So yeah, so Trip Portals is a map created by Plar. Showing off, and this is going to also be going on our social media. So
when we edit the video,
yeah, we got to get that out. The entire point of portals in momentum means that you can create some pretty unrealistic looking geometry, some non-Euclidean geometry here. So let's go ahead and just play a little bit, and you'll start to see how kind of mind-bendy it'll get. You can probably also already see it with the oh, this is 30 FPS. Sorry about that. I forgot.
Funny way you can start the map if you want to show off how weird the portals are.
Let me. Oh shit! Assertion ruined me. How do you start the map?
Watch what I'm doing at the start. Like
okay.
I sort of
tolerance
jump.
Oh, you're like jumping
90-degree turn. I kind of want to try PB doing.
Oh yeah, I see.
It's slower, but it's just funny.
Yeah. So I'll try to get further along. If not, we can spectate somebody and I can show it off. But yeah, I'm not the world's best bunny hopper, but that's why I'm making the game. I want to get better.
So you can cheat at it and no one will know.
Exactly. That's the only way to play. All right, asserts. They're very fun. So yeah, you get some kind of mind-bendy shit and a lot of asserts when you play on debug. Sorry about that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just kind of the case with portals. That'll probably actually be a requirement of ours to play through maps with debug and just see like what asserts we're hitting. Oh shit, I just edge bugged. Get fucked. All right. Well, yeah, so it's kind of mind-bending. We're not even to the most mind-bending part yet. I played this map before, so that's why I know where to go here. But yeah, portals they're pretty fucking pog.
Yeah, we have a show triggered command. It's currently behind SVG by accident.
I'm gonna go the noob way because I'm a big noob.
You restart.
Oh shit, I missed. Even big noob. All right, whatever. So we'll go down here.
Also, just watch Player's World Record Run, which is an unbelievably good run.
Yeah, we'll watch that at the end here.
He was saying the other day that it's better than it's like segmented, but it isn't actually segmented. It's just an insanely good run.
Oh shit. Oh man, I didn't get the show. I'm gonna redo this because this section, when you do it right, is such an awesome transition. So like obviously here's a portal, and then let me transition down here.
The head surfs are really tough.
No, I keep hitting this wall. I suck.
I feel like I'm just going the wrong direction.
Me too.
But yeah.
I'm bunny hop for shit today. I've changed my settings loads.
There we go. That's it.
Recently, because I've been working on the settings panel, and I just click random stuff.
So yeah, this is the level of, oh fuck, I missed. Whoops. All right, so this is the level of gameplay that you can get. Why am I holding jump? Oh man. All right.
I think
the
there we go. Speedometer color is a little funky.
Oh, it is. Yeah, we know. It's updating every frame.
Quick. Yeah.
And so it's kind of broken, but I feel like the VGUI one updated every frame. I need to look at. Whoa!
I had a pretty.
Well, there's two different. There's two different like every frame kind of.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Where one is like the input frame, one's like the render frame. This is the render frame, and I think VGUI just did the input frame. It's just a little slower, but it should just be the input frame. It's updating too fast.
I have a nice way of updating it, but it's in JavaScript in a way that I think Bhop will shout at me for.
Yeah. Probably, I don't know. Oh, the lag, because I'm on debug. Yeah, I never like play test like performance or anything on debug because it's not representative of the final game. So any lag or anything that you're seeing right now is just because I'm on debug, which is a specific. No, fuck. I didn't know. I thought there was a teleport.
Like they don't have access to debug, right? So
yeah. That's nothing anyone other than developers have to worry about. So. So let me see if I can beat this map. We'll watch Plar's God tier run, so you can see it in its full glory, and then we'll head over to Conc.
There's Ark has made a map called Surf Antechamber. Linguiste.
Boom.
Lobby is public if it's my lobby.
Oh yeah, it didn't submit, but anyway, now I got a PB. So we'll watch Plar's run, by the way, which I have to do that to get it too. So there's here's the leaderboards in game. It'll be showing kind of like more stuff by Trazox. Whoops, I didn't hook that up. There's some stuff missing. Anyway, Trazox, sick map, Traz. Honestly, I really like this map.
Made every map in the game.
So you can watch replay and it'll download. So let's just watch Plar's run here so you can enjoy it in its beauty here. Oh, is somebody fucking rocket jumping? Rocket jump on Bhop trip portals. So there is a slight lag, as you can see, when replay teleports right now. Or it's not teleport. It's weird. It's like it's not actually seamlessly teleporting like the player does, which we just need to figure out. So
it's an 11, right?
Yeah. Oh. So this is the pro way. I didn't go this way because I'm not that good.
I feel like I'm not getting the lag this time.
Holy shit! Zoop. I love that transition. So I love the transition.
So doing that fast is really tough.
Yeah.
Also, that spin is sick. I guess I'm watching the stream of it, so I'm a bit behind, but yeah.
And then the shortcut here, you could jump around there. Look at that! It's shaved 3 minutes on my time. Yeah. So, very clean, very, very, very crazy. Oh man. Like, this is just the first map with portals, right? Like, this is just the first one. Like, it's so amazing to see this kind of content, because this is what, like, adding portals and stuff like I'm looking like forward to when I was porting the portals.
I mean, it's also just a very good map in general. Like it looks excellent, but yeah, the addition of portals is like this just extra level of spiciness.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go, I guess, over to.
If we want to stay on topic of portals, we could go on to. I guess you don't have Iron Moon, do you?
And I cannot sticky jump, so.
You could download it and watch someone in the lobby. But oh, you won't see it in. No, you will see it in spec. It's not replay.
I just came in. Do it again. Okay, once more for the people in the back or the people that just came in. Yeah. So this is Bhop Trip Portals by Plar, and this is the first kind of official momentum map using portals for gameplay. And yeah, ignore the kind of weird flickering that happens when they hit a portal in the replay. That does not happen in gameplay. That only happens in replays, and we're going to be fixing that. So don't worry. And there's also no footsteps, so it's eerily quiet when you watch a replay. But probably
I have no idea how you go through that.
Yeah, the flip there into that transition. Oh, so clean.
Yeah.
Wee.
No, it's a great map. I mean, it's really fun to just play sort of casually. And
yeah,
the fast route, it's tough because you have to do that the double head surf.
Yeah. No maps feature gels, mainly because we don't have gels. We could add gels.
Would be cool, but let's not do it before we actually get the game out.
I would think that a lot of the gel functionality could just be triggers anyway. So I don't know. Gels are cool, but like we have slide triggers. We could add the speed up stuff if we want to a trigger volume. We could add. We already have bounce. We already have things like that. So
we just need the gel noise.
Whoa! Wait, hold on. What is going on with my speedometer? Why is it showing these two things and not fading away? That's jump, and
is that
then
ramp
zone?
entry?
No, that's zone. So I entered.
They're not even colored.
That. Yeah,
that's strange.
Bro,
whatever.
Is this speedo hooked up to settings yet? Am I going to be able to do that? So?
We don't have speedo settings yet. No.
Maybe it's from the replay.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, we just got to reset the HUD when you stop spectating, which I thought the reset function in code did that. Anyway, we'll look into it. There's a reset function that we hook into and whatever. All right, let's go play Conc, as it was in fact the last question.
Are you sure you don't want to play Iron Man in the lobby?
Does Bray want me to show it off? Is it playable in debug? Is it like okay FPS in debug?
I think so. I don't know. I haven't done anything insane.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything expensive. It's just PBR stuff.
Is it in? Oh, it's not pinned anywhere.
I put it in voice team.
No.
Okay,
voice
team.
team.
There we go. Yeah, let me get that real quick.
Yeah, if you're okay showing it off, right? Like it's such a sick map.
Yeah, do you want me to show it off on stream?
All right, if you want, yeah.
Cool.
I mean, first like jump map with portals, I guess.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But it's also got really cool textures and yeah, it just looks good and
yeah, the textures are really nice. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Adobe, I guess.
Yeah, Adobe.
Yeah. That's right.
That's the perks of being on the team is I'll give you textures that I get with the license I'm not even using for anything right now.
Oh shit, I didn't download the zones. Fuck. Okay, hold on, let me get them.
When you get a month. That will require Bray or False to bunny hop. Not bunny hop, sticky jump.
Bunny hop.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think anyone else here can do it.
Yeah.
no, it's too
not
sick.
possible.
Nobody else here can even play
do
that.
I can't do like the spawn.
Another thing to note is we finally added caching for when you play an official map, we cache these zones locally. So you have them. And then eventually we're going to have a hash that checks so you don't always have to download them. You can just use the ones you have locally. Like the official ones you have locally. All right, cool. SJ, was it Iron Man? That's it.
I don't even download it myself. What is wrong with me?
What are you doing? You're desecrating my map. With your paint. Can you not paint on PBR materials?
Whoa, really? That would be
can.
fun.
So to kind of showcase the map, a little bit here. Oh wait, does that not use? This doesn't use radial fog? Are you fucking kidding me? Like not the radial fog, but the edge of the material shows up based on how I'm looking. Map. Oh, MIPS don't use. Okay, yeah. We need to change MIPS to use like radial.
Look at the grounds.
Anyway, yeah. So
and the colors fade out too.
Oh man, but the the blowing up the sticky bombs.
Oh yeah,
destroys the illusion.
That's actually a good thing. They won't apply the decals.
Yeah,
that would take like a year of someone's work to make
that work. To make it work. So this is PBR and parallax occlusion. This is fake depth on a texture, basically just from the texture itself. So it gives the impression that you're actually walking on a moon.
It can be a little weird in some ways. Most games, a lot of games use it, but they use it in quite subtle ways.
Well, these are all parallax, even these sides of like these, and the metal, like pretty much everything in this map is like has some sort of parallax.
It's not the best. We kind of want. There are some other things we'd like to do as well, or better ways of doing height mapping. It's a really interesting topic. It's like almost like academic discussion, like how you do height mapping well. But parallax is pretty cool. You can do some nice stuff with it, and like, it's relatively cheap.
Oh shit! The flashlight. I forgot we had a flashlight.
So yeah, this is using PBR textures and good old-fashioned portals. Oh my god, how do you even? Oh my god! Oh no, I'm not gonna be able to do this. Wait. Oh, okay, I see. So. Oh fuck. Okay, so you can do that.
It's really hard.
Oh my god. Just shoot two stickies. Okay, I need to spectate somebody. I can't play this one. I'll watch you, Bray. It is your map. So. All right. So yeah, we'll just talk to chat, I guess, while we finish up the stream here. We do have 10 minutes left before we end here. I got dinner and stuff, but this is SJ Iron Moon. This is the first jump map to use portals.
Oh.
Yeah, this is so cool.
Yeah.
I love the trails.
Oops.
Yeah, they.
We'll get those fixed.
We'll fix that. We just need to have it delete and recreate the trail when it teleports.
Kind of amazing how little time you spent on portals. It feels getting this thing done.
Map.
Featured content on Momentum Mod profiles would actually be pretty cool. We are going to have badges.
Yeah, but it sounds kind of. I feel like the site profile will be much easier to let you customize.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that like we can integrate the game and the website quite nicely, and that we'll be able to have you like if you want to. And this is, I think, especially for like other players' profiles. Like if you want to really get like the rundown of like another player and like see like all their map completion, a bunch of graphs, all sorts of crazy stuff. The thing you want is, what am I saying? I can't even speak. I'm tired. You want to look at the website for that, and we can just open that in like the Steam overlay. We'll put a decent amount of stuff in Pano, but I mean, there's still, Pano isn't like working with like Angular and like Duffel API where you can make. Yeah. For us to get data into Panorama, you have to have the whole C++ layer, plug in data in. New color picker and speedo settings in yet? So
speedo settings, no, but new color picker is, yeah. So let me show that off after Bray's run here.
Seen it yet?
Is it actually?
Yeah, PL2's been working on the color picker. Yeah. I think once speedo is in, we've done settings will be pretty much finished.
Is chat not?
Apart from the game mode overrides, which is another big thing.
This map has spooky ambient sounds just in time for Halloween.
It does. And if you go through the portals, it goes like a whoop sound.
Oh, I see. I hear it. Yeah.
evprofile.com. Yeah, we'd be. Yeah, our user page is going to be pretty similar to this.
Game.
Portal gun in Momentum. No, we don't have the portal gun. We just have the portal in maps.
Just portals.
Portal gun would be kind of fun, but we're not portal. Like we want the tech itself. Not the...
Yeah, we want to leave portal gun and kind of gel stuff to P2C, so that they, people have reasons to make maps. Yeah, we will add Wheatley though. Wheatley is very important to our and the Space Core.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've actually booked in Stephen Merchant to do some like momentum specific lines.
Stephen Merchant.
He's doing the soundtrack too.
Just with his
This jump
voice.
is filler.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Filler
And
jump.
you can kind of transition. Into...
Oh shit. Oh, it's
Oh,
so
no.
mind Oh no.
Oh,
Were you stuck in the ground? What is that?
no, lagging.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I got a little bit
I
of
think my
lag.
computer's overheating.
My packets.
Operation Get Bray a new computer. We gotta get
Yeah.
one. So you actually have like, oh well, you have your ultra wide.
You know, will you be able to see their CPs and times? Do we have mockups for that? We should be able to do that.
This
Yep.
jump is hard.
Yeah, you'll be able to see their.
So hard.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a
Oh
crazy jump.
man.
That like.
Oh, you have to like twist around it. The synchronization with falls. Oh man.
Yeah. This is where everybody dies.
Yeah. This is where it's tier 7.
And of course, it's the last jump.
Yep.
The grand finale.
Average gain and gain related things. Not really.
Grand finale.
We could do that locally though. It doesn't. I mean, like we can get average gain, or like if we store gain through stages and stuff. Like we have average sync, right? So if we store gain through that that stats array, yeah, we could do that to where it's like you get your average gain and stuff per map and per stage, right? Per zone, right? That'd be pretty
from
cool.
the run data, or we
Yep.
saving like
The
every
leaderboards, yeah.
So it wouldn't, but it wouldn't be like the attempt data, right? Like it would just be from the runs that actually get submitted, right?
Yeah, yep. So that would be the difference. Is like, yeah, it's only submitted. Nice.
Right.
Nice.
Oh, so listen to the song.
This is Braze. Okay. Yeah, this is Braze map. Welcome 200. Yeah, the portal stuff.
I almost used your hexagonal texture, 200, but I didn't. I like made my own.
MIP texture visibility uses the same thing as like the old fog. Oh man.
I don't know. It's nice.
It is nice though that it's like MIP. And then you can also like, I think there's like a graphic setting that you can change to like make it. But anyway.
I practice.
Oh my god, I can't do it. It's so hard. How do you get like the sticky?
Yeah, you have to like shoot one on the ground and one up. And then like.
And then the second one as you're falling. Yeah. I gotcha. Oh.
Yeah, and then use it to strafe.
Oh no. See a linguist.
What is my sense? My settings are so messed up. Doing like settings configure like testing settings. I did.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to show that.
Stuff.
Thank you for mentioning.
And like, I did show off the screenshot of it briefly.
So we do have a color picker now. You can now pick your ghost color. It's very similar to the old color picker of Days Yonder. Yeah, so works. Changes your color. I think I changed to a blue ghost. Can you guys see? Am I blue ghost spray?
Yep.
Yay!
Blue diamond.
Blue diamond. That's right. Blue diamond game.
Yeah, I can do the paint thing. As soon as I get the fill, I'll do the paint.
Pentagonal prism. Oh yeah. Wait, no. What was the question about cylinder? There you go. Now you're a cylinder. Yeah. Oh wait, why do we allow rotation?
That's a great idea.
What is the rotation on this model panel?
Change your collision mesh.
Oh my god.
Huh? Rotation.
There's work being done on a real model. Yeah. We're working on the player model a lot at the moment.
Yeah.
We might trade it off at some point in the future.
Yeah.
We did Fells did a dev stream a bit ago.
Yeah, that was pretty recent. I don't know how many people here have like in the current stream are familiar with it, but it's in the works. You can check our dev stream if you want to check out the progress. I'm almost done the hands. So we're gonna have new hand models for the V models. So when you're actually holding the weapon, it won't be Gordon's. It won't be Gordon's like stolen arms. Yeah, he needs them back. So.
But look at the player models like with this lighting.
See you, Sam.
But yeah, and then we'll have full player models as well.
Damn.
It's coming soon. There's been some really cool work with, particularly like animation work and stuff.
Vortex and Spring
It's just gonna look really cool.
Awesome
That's
stuff.
all I can say. Right now.
We cannot confirm or deny that. We cannot confirm or deny that we will have Twilight Sparkle.
Models.
Yeah, the Gmod pony model as the default.
Oh my god, those.
Get Hasbro, Michelin, who else? Nintendo maybe.
More than
Capcom.
Yeah,
Let's get all of the companies to just send us some C&Ds.
But honestly, well, once we get the player models in and hooked up with like C models and like rigs and animated, it's gonna be really impressive.
Yeah.
It's so cool seeing like art people, the work they've done this month.
Yeah.
But yeah. But so next month or this coming month, we're hopefully gonna get Panorama pretty much finished ported, right, to Unknown 1. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Man, I thought the hide HUD stuff was still working. I guess not. I have to look into that some more. This should not be showing, obviously. It is
Wonky
VGUI.
ghost rotations.
So.
What is the wonky ghost rotations?
Turn it on.
Where is that? Oh.
Turn it on and then just like look.
Rotate about their origin.
Yeah. So like
that.
as you look around.
Your...
Yeah, they just go up and down. So like looking up and down like this makes it so that I'm like head bobbing.
There are a couple of settings where I couldn't even tell what they did, and they didn't have tooltips, and I was writing some extra tooltips, and I did not know what to put. There's one that just says, "I don't know what this is." You go to seriously, go to settings and HUD, and then sync colorization type.
Yeah.
Where is that?
HUD sync colorization type.
Yeah.
The bottom one.
Ugly and default one. I love it. Yeah, we had some fun. We had some fun with sync back in the day, just not knowing what we were doing.
Ugly.
Are we getting burned out from Panorama? Not really. It's just going slower. A lot of stuff's happening in real life.
So much work.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, my real life is kind of fucked right now.
Yep. So, not really burned out. It's it'll be nice for me to jump over to the zone stuff because it'll like I've got like again those core things I talked about in the previous stream on my sites. So you know, jumping over to stuff like that. Does the background sound clipping when it loops?
I think so. It has like this sound.
Yeah, right?
Noticed, yeah.
Look. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did you?
Anyway, I thought that was my like speakers dying. Glad that it's not just me.
I don't know why it does that. That's strange.
Oh, the lighting.
It's,
Whoa.
smooth loop.
That is such a cool transitional lighting. What the hell? It's like fades in.
Well, it actually turns on fog too.
Oh, gotcha.
That's why I pushed the room so far back.
Yeah.
So you couldn't see that the fog was being turned on and off.
Oh, do I not have fog? I guess? Or... Huh.
You get fog when you're in, this area, but
Gotcha.
it shuts off later. If you turn fog off, you can see the edge of the walls and everything.
Jacko, how many maps are there planned for 1.0? Because that could take a lot of zoning. Yeah. After 0.10.0, big zoning push, big porting push, like where we start really solidifying like how we want maps ported and like what stuff in maps we really don't want and needs tweaking. But yeah, a lot of learning. But we will also be improving like the zone tooling and stuff, right? So it will be a bit less horrible. Then again, the best way to zone is to make your map for momentum and do that in Hammer. And yeah, that's the default speedometer font. We're going with Roboto for that, which is our sort of primary font.
Yeah.
We don't know if we'll change like the sizing at all, but I think it looks pretty good right now.
Yeah, sizing could be... yeah, no, it is. It scales with resolution too. Like this isn't a fixed size. It'll...
Yeah, Roboto's a great font. I think Roboto can sometimes look just a bit too common. Like people are just very used to seeing Roboto, like on Android, Google stuff. I really like it in combination with Babus, like header font.
Yeah.
I think they go great together.
Yeah.
It's a really nice pairing that I think by having that pairing you sort of get a bit more of a distinctness to. I don't know. They look good together.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, maybe this is Babus on the speedo. What an idiot.
No.
Yeah, portals are still a little wonky. Like right here, it's actually it's going through the portal plane itself and hitting the wall behind it.
Yeah.
Which seems a little funky, but that's like, yeah, if I were to show that, yeah, see, so it's like coming back here. It's unfortunate. It's just a downside of the portals that we need to like look at like where you are in the portal, right? Because like right now it's like tracing like behind the portal, so like we need to like almost do a sweep to see like are you standing in a portal, and then if so, like we move the trace back and make sure that we're tracing to the right point. It's just extra maths we're gonna have to add, because obviously sticky bombs and rockets and stuff aren't in like portal, and there's not a turret that's like right against a portal.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh yeah, it is flickering. That's weird. Huh.
But it's so fun, like when you play a map for a while and then
What's
you just
flickering?
These guys when you were shooting the stickies, but that might be.
Yeah, it like changes like the cube map
Yeah.
that it's using
What the
when you
party's
shoot a
happening?
sticky. Or when, like,
PBR
the
shader
spawn.
fun times. Yeah, looks like some cube map binding that we need to fix up.
It's good that people are actually using PBR though, which means
Yes, which finds these issues before we're released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
found the
I could
course.
actually make textures sometime and then
I think it's even buggier on DX11, I think.
Oh
Yeah.
goody.
Yeah.
Well, the DX11 has like a lot of bugs with what is it? Like going through portals. Like
Yeah.
you can see a lot of white, kind of, just coming from the skybox at certain angles.
Oh, I wonder if.
Did you fix the illusionary bug?
No, I just made everything detail. Yeah, so in DX9, if you have like a PBR material and it's illusionary, like the face won't render. It'll render like in the skybox.
What the hell?
I
It's the
really want to.
stupidest thing ever. I don't understand why. It's only in DX11 or DX9. There's nothing to do with fast path, so.
Yeah, I gotta figure out why the.
Race lady.
Do people see the avatar panels in their builds, or is it just the?
I think they're broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Damn.
they look broken to me.
Okay.
I think it's just
Yeah.
I think it's the detection of
Oh.
when you have
Wait.
your mouse over it.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
It like sort of worked for
Right.
fingerprints there.
Yeah, it
Right.
did.
They're a little broken.
I'm afraid your map.
I don't know what happened because they were working and
Yeah.
broke, and then I fixed them, and then they're
They're
broken.
broken again.
I think I don't know what causes them to show up now.
He's playing parkour. PK beef.
I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to get through it. I don't think this map is possible in parkour.
Yeah, maybe if you double jump at the right time.
Can you
under
go?
it.
Oh, holy shit! No, I did.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh.
okay, so that,
No, you gotta go under. You gotta go
yeah,
from
yeah.
under. Yeah.
I did manage to get on top of it though.
Also, I think
cannot wait to do parkour.
Cup is just like in the skybox over here.
Yeah, Cup crashes. Apparently, you crash on Linux.
Oh, really?
It's so good.
I don't know why.
I thought Linux was super stable.
Damn. Well, just need more
Yeah.
Linux playtesting. We could probably figure it out. That was probably something with the renderer. Whoa.
This is like a very good map to find a ton of bugs.
Yeah,
it's
right. It's
incredible.
using literally everything
Load
we
of
want to.
PBR and portals all in one place.
Right. I love how seamless portals are,
also
even
has,
when like no clipping.
It has parallax corrected Q maps too.
Oh, that might be relevant. Maybe. I wonder if it's Oh man.
Yeah.
Wait, where are the
don't-
cube maps?
Haven't noticed. Huh?
Where are the cube maps?
I placed them a bunch of different places.
Oh no, I found a bug in parkour. Whatever shall we do? Quick.
I'm like
Get on
not
that.
seeing any.
Contact contact respawn real quick.
Yeah, it's because they're really rough
What
materials.
about our derivative hardcore code?
What's this room? This spooky room. Oh, it's a
I
stage
don't really
select.
want a lot of reflections, but
Wait, is this stage select just a dev?
Yeah, you need
dev section?
PBR needs cube maps, so I feel like people need to think of cube maps as not just a thing for reflections, as in, but they're also just a thing for how PBR does lighting. But like, PBR without cube maps just doesn't make any sense. We use
I had
RDL,
some of these textures
so.
really shiny, and then I just didn't think it would look good, so I just made them really rough.
Is that a gun?
What are you doing?
That's a stinky bomb launcher.
So we also added the ability to change the zone colors, but also these are new, so you can actually change them. Outlines as overlays means it draws automatically through walls, and then you can watch them as side faces, which is like, hey, like right here. Oh, that is Z fighting to hell
working.
And back. No, it's working. And then there's side faces as
Z fighting and source. What the hell?
Which is
holy Z fighting.
Yeah. So much better there. Oh wow, portals do not respect it. Okay, that's funny because portals are a separate render pass. That's actually pretty funny.
Our game isn't quite this buggy usually.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So you can do that if you want.
Yeah, Bray, I can't do this in parkour.
And then we have RGB here, so if we want just pure green,
like every rocket jumper.
And then we're back. So,
like I'm trying to
map is soldier.
Yeah, but now we get to do it for 9 ever. You just get to do
side faces with transparency. Yep, you can set it to anything. So the last thing here is alpha. So it has 255 by default, but let's I
wonder if you could make a map that's like fun
side faces,
all 10 modes.
And then we change alpha to like 128 and save that. I thought it
even work as overlays?
I thought it was. I thought it worked.
I don't know if alpha would work with overlays.
Oh, maybe not. Well, I didn't do overlays. I just
debug overlays. So.
Yeah, no.
Well, technically they render every like couple or like every 10th of a second or some stupid shit like that. So you'd have to.
Holy shit!
So dumb.
I almost did it. I almost got in there.
Which?
They're just meant for debugging. We probably shouldn't be using them to draw zones.
Yeah. Yeah, we need like a proper way. But yeah. So I mean, I think that's it for the stream. That's where we can cut it.
I've not got through the thing in parkour yet. You got to keep going.
Conc?
Oh my god, I did it!
God damn it! All right, let's watch.
Conc skip. We didn't even play Conc.
Wait, you did it? Oh, well, you're still at the start. Did you restart? Or is that not you? Oh wait, there you are.
How's the Momentum website going? We had a meeting about it recently, 200, and it's progressing more now. We've actually got some progress. We've had a really good month in terms of little meetings and things and getting stuff organized. It's been good.
Yeah. Oh, he made it. Let's go. Nice.
Wait, does that count? Is this the end?
No. Yeah, I mean, yeah. You have to go back. You have to go back up through the portal.
Fuck off.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna be able to make this one without like an extra. Maybe you might be able to like grab onto that. I don't know. I don't think you can.
I'd love that.
Anyway, yeah. So the website is progressing well. We've decided a direction to go. Because for the longest time we've been in rewrite hell.
Yeah, are we saying that? Decided... Are we just like telling people about that now? I mean, we might as well, right? So...
Yeah, I mean, it was in limbo for the longest time.
Because we were planning on doing the C# rewrite because C# is really cool, and moving to not using Node for new stuff and using better languages than JavaScript. Is appealing. However, it wasn't really getting anywhere. We were kind of it's just in terms of like new people we brought on and how like everyone's like timings sort of sync up. Who's got the most time they can spend on what? it seems we're sticking with Node because it's less work and we're actually pretty happy. And then we're gradually migrating it all over to TypeScript. Currently, it's just plain JavaScript, which is gross. Like one of the really big issues with the Node API is just that it's not typed, and that means you just don't have you can just get any fucking data and like start doing stuff to it without confirming like that you actually have the type you want, and you can get a surprisingly long way like within like the whole system with just an insane broken object.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving over to TypeScript, which is going to be nice, but there's much less work than rewriting the entire thing in C#.
Yeah. Yeah, that pretty much sums it. Yeah, it's it'll be nice to see at least where TypeScript, goes. Yeah, I mean, you will need the Steam version of Momentum to kind of mess around, I guess, with like data that you're sending it. However, if you're doing web dev work, we have a ton of like front end stuff too, and if you do some of that, you get a key.
Yeah.
So help us out. Scratch our back, we'll key yours, I guess is the saying.
We'll key your car.
If you get the whole system like set up, if you manage to get like the front end, yeah. If you don't have a car, we'll find out.
Key your bike.
Yeah.
Vehicle of your choice. But if you can get the front end and the back end set up with like the mock data and stuff in the back end, which is currently not that well documented, and we are going to be improving. But if you can get that done, and then what am I saying?
You can work on the front end, which uses the back end directly and doesn't require the game. The game has specific use cases.
But if you're in a good spot of like getting those working, and you do an issue, then like you're bound to get a key. Right? Not the arbiter of that, but like honestly, I'll be impressed.
This is how large angle glitch works. Yeah.
XP, why did you change your name? What the hell?
Huh?
You changed your Steam name back.
I didn't change it back.
Oh, does God change to do?
Oh, Godpack has a nickname on me. Yeah.
Ridiculous. Censorship and free speech and whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I do have a. And then the leaderboards gets your actual name.
Right. Okay.
That's
I thought
funny.
you'd done it on stream just now because you didn't.
Oh, that's something we have to.
Manuals on stream constantly.
Yeah. That's something we actually have to think about, because it's like if you set a nickname for somebody that's on the website, should your nickname override it? We could look into doing that. I don't know if we can see if you have a nickname set for somebody. I don't know if they expose that, but that is, we could look into doing that. And then that way it's site name, then nickname if you know them personally.
Yeah.
Good question.
And then Steam name as like the fallback of like whatever your Steam name is. We'll set it.
Oh, I found a weird bug. If you reset while your orientation is shifting while you're going through a portal, it does a weird thing.
Oh, that's a good find.
That's a good find. Yeah, we actually need to reset that quantum punch. It's like getting punched in the fourth dimension. I love that comment. This is a Valve code comment. Yeah, it's like quantum. It's like they like when you go through a portal, you get punched in the fourth dimension. In order for it to like rotate your like view or something.
Oh,
it's so great. I love that comment.
Going on there.
Yeah, a lot of.
Even though physically it makes absolutely no sense. Like
quaternion punch.
I don't know if you can see that.
I don't see. You you like
I wasn't moving my mouse.
Yeah. Okay.
What
the hell? It's like teleporting you right back.
Wait.
Oh, I see.
Oh, I'm physically teleporting, and then it's like after I teleport, I'm not touching my mouse.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like moving my view all over the place.
Oh, do it again real quick. It's looking at the ground for me. Oh, I see. It's like doing a rotate shuffle. Okay, I see. Yeah. Okay, we just have to reset that, or store that in the like reset save block that you do. Yeah. Okay. I think we're gonna cut the stream
just to say,
here.
200. I think we're going to be cleaning up the GitHub issues a bunch soon.
Yes.
Scott can answer this better. There's a good comment there from him.
Yeah. They need to be reprioritized in terms of what actually needs to be done. For the most part, what I'm trying to do is like prioritize what the game needs and then probably tackle those myself, if I can. But otherwise, like what would be like what's coming up should be kind of prioritized more, because we're getting to that point. Like zones, for example, editing map is a big one that would be fantastic to have, editing zones and stuff. It's not fully finished there. Removing times is another one from the leaderboards. Adding that functionality so that we can go in and delete fucking 5
in
second
terms
times.
of getting a clearer picture of what people wanting to help out with the TS migration. That could be useful. I think.
The TypeScript migration's another big one.
Yeah. Have you seen 200's comment on Twitch?
Oh, I already have the key, but I may still contribute. Do you guys have any? Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah. Just the public issues.
Gesturing you to that message.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm zoning out. 3 hours is like my talking limit. I need like food and water and shelter. No, just we will need help with the TypeScript migration. What needs migrated needs to be created into issues. I need to do that. We're starting off with the map, like doing the map model first.
Prioritization, right?
Yeah, ideally. So the map model is like the first one, because that's probably the most important, and then it goes from there. It branches out. There's so many things that the map model touches that like it's just divide and conquer, really. So yeah, okay, cool. That's gonna be it for this stream. Let's go ahead. Is anybody streaming Momentum or anything in general? I can't tell because their bot is down. Reliability. Let's go.
The game is so
nope.
No.
No one's streaming Momentum.
Dang.
Oh, I know. We could host Al, who's playing Defrag.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Let's go.
Doing the World Cup stuff, or
yeah, it looks like it.
He is. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we can go and raid Crazy Al. Yeah. Or is that an L or?
It's Al.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, thank you all very much for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and get this started. These are very fun streams to do every now and then. So if you have any questions for us, please make sure you're joining our Discord. The link is in, our bio on our website. It's everywhere. The raid message is play defrag. Play defrag smile, and you can do any smile emoji that you want. I just did default because this account has no emotes. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching. Enjoy some defrag World Cup, and see you all in the next Q&A and or stream that we just do on this account. Make sure to follow if you want to watch more dev streams. So take care, and see you all next time.
See you all. Bye.